Good morning. I'm 1 second early. Hope you guys are proud. What's up, Encanta? Hello, Arthritic. Hello, Sheep Animations. How you guys doing today? What? My camera was just like, I'm done. I'm done for the day already. Sometimes if I leave it sit for too long before I actually start the stream, then it shuts off. But I started, so I don't know why I shut off. We are in Swords and Magic today. I don't know what we're doing though, to be honest. I'm in the middle of working on some Delver's Pass stuff, which maybe we'll do. I want to finish up Delver's Pass. There's still so much to do in this project. The music just died on us. Oh, there it goes. Let's skip the hoedown song from The Sims. What's up, Boob? Welcome in. Yeah, there's a lot to do in Swords and Magic, but I am at the point where I think we're like gonna start wrapping up here. What does that mean? I don't know. I don't know what the 1.0 looks like right now, but I'm thinking we might have to change the storyline a little bit. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I don't know. There was a lot of stuff planned, but the engine is pretty old. The project is really big and bloated, and it's kind of dead. The game's has been kind of dying for a while, and it's probably just because we haven't been like super up on updates. I mean, we updated in December last, I think, and nothing since then. It's been like 3 months. And Delver's Pass didn't even get finished yet. Like, there's still lots more to do in here, and then we have a cave over here that's blocked off that we're finishing up. That's where to go. Over here. That's what I'm working on right now. Spoilers in this cave. So I need to finish this up. It's almost there, I think. Kind of, mostly. A little bit. There's some like big spoilers in here that I really don't want to like reveal yet, so I'm not gonna work on too much of this on stream, just because I still want some mystery to the game. For this last, not the last update. I'm sure there's gonna be more updates than this, but for this next update. But once we have Delver's Pass finished up, which is just those 2 things, I think. I'd like to do a couple more quests for the Rivari, just so there's stuff to do there. What are the big tasks, and then what are the big tasks, and then figure out which of those you want to do and break that task down, repeat until there's something you want to work on. That's a good call. I saw you said there was a healing beam in the finals. How is the healing in it? It's pretty like I don't know, it's a pretty big part of the game. Like, it's pretty rare to see like a team comp without the healing beam, but it's not like so much that like you can probably primary heal. Like, you're definitely gonna be shooting people still. What's up, Matt? I've become very, very into the finals the last few weeks. I've been playing since like the day it launched or the day after it launched, but I'm really into it recently, and season 6 is going to be really good, I think. I finished literally everything you can do in the battle pass and all the contracts and everything for this season, which is crazy. I don't think I've done anything close to that in any game before. I don't think I've ever finished a battle pass in any game ever until this season. I think last season I finished it too. Maybe the season before. But I really like the finals a lot, and it was kind of slowing down for a while, and people thought it was dying, and now I think it's finally coming back, and I think season 6 is definitely going to have a big boom. But yeah, the healing beam is pretty cool. It does have like a cooldown on it, so you use it, and then it like overheats, and then you have to wait a few seconds for it to come back, but it's pretty solid. In the first like season or 2, I think there was like a bug where randomly it was just like you couldn't use it the whole match, and then they fixed that finally, I think. But yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, it's not. There's definitely not like a. It's definitely not like a full healing. Like, you can't play. It's not like Mercy or like It's not like a healing class in Overwatch is. But you can definitely play support. Like you can do a like a jump pad and a oh, what's it called? Like a, oh my god, why can't I think of what it's called? It's like a zip line. There you go, got it. It's like a jump pad and zip line. You can use those two gadgets, and then there's also like like an anti projectile. I don't know, I can't think of any names of the gadgets right now. Device too, you can like put down so you can like stop grenades from hitting. So you can go very support heavy and then do the healing beam. And there's also a defibrillator gadget you can use. Defibrillator gadget, got it. And that like revives players or enemies, or oh my god, not enemies. Revives your allies quicker than just actually like picking them up. But yeah, it's pretty good. The only kind of DPS I can actively play is like Junkrat-esque. Yeah, there's also a grenade launcher that works almost exactly, well, not exactly. It's similar to Junkrat's, but they explode on impact. But it feels better than I don't know if it feels better than Junkrat, to be honest. I don't know. So I stopped playing the finals and I stopped playing the Overwatch. I stopped playing Overwatch when Overwatch 2 came out. Because I did not like the direction they were going, and I thought they just kind of like got really scummy with it. I thought Overwatch 2 was unnecessary. It was just like a small graphics overhaul, and then they just made a whole new game, which I didn't really understand. But yeah, I don't know. I didn't like where Blizzard was going with it, so I gave up on Overwatch and stopped playing it. And then I found the finals, and it's become my new game I play every night. Anyway, doing good, loving watching your game dev stream. Thanks, appreciate that. And yeah, I agree. I think C++ and Blueprint is definitely the way to go, by the way. Overwatch 2 is dumb, Rivals is peak. Yeah, I played Rivals for a little bit. I don't know, I'm not super I'm not really big into Marvel, to be honest. Like, it's okay. I don't like dislike it. I'm just not a huge fan of it. And so, I don't know. I played for a little while and I was kind of getting into it, but there's something about it that just feels kind of loose to me. It just feels kind of sloppy to me. Like it just doesn't feel like it doesn't have that like Overwatch like polish, I guess, that Overwatch has. And I don't know, it just felt a little meh. I love the art, most of it, and I like the idea of it, but it just wasn't enough for me. I don't know, there's something about it I didn't like. But I played it for quite a while. I played for like a couple months. Anyway, moving on. So yeah, Swords of Magic. What is the plan? I don't know what the plan is, but I think right now the plan is just to finish up Delver's Pass and then see where we go next. Honestly, what I'm leaning toward doing right now is just going through the game from the beginning and wrapping up loose ends. Like one update at a time, just wrapping up all the loose ends. So going back to Azura. Oh god, we're gonna load in Azura. This is probably a mistake. We should just open up Tearwyn so we have everything loaded. Do we dare do that? We're doing it. It's gonna be a minute, but we're just gonna chat, so it doesn't matter. But I'm thinking we're gonna go through like the whole game and just like find all the spots where it's like this was coming soon, but we never got around to this, or this was like a feature that we were supposed to do and we didn't do, or whatever, and just like clean a bunch of that stuff up. I don't know if we're gonna clean up like old quests and stuff. I'm kind of thinking it's not worth it right now. And I was gonna redo like the Azura storylines. There's actually like a storyline that goes through it, but I'm not even like, I don't know. A lot of the stuff that I wanted to do was because I thought the game would like perform better and it would finally like start picking up steam. So I had like this huge, like I wanted to do like an intro cutscene to the game, and I wanted to do like not a better tutorial, but like a better like story that leads in and out of the tutorial, and then like just a little more hand holding in Azura for players who need that. And then there was going to be a storyline through Farmlands 2 about the scarecrows. The music's kind of loud, sorry. Probably just on my end, actually. So yeah, I don't know. That's kind of the plan, is just to, I don't know. I want to do all those things, but now that I'm kind of looking at like I don't know. I think Seeking Adventure was kind of like an eye opener, like like announcing a new game and like switching to that to like primary and stuff, and people not like no one showed up at my house with a pitchfork or a torch or anything like that. And I don't know why I thought that I thought like if we announced a new game as like an actual primary project that we were gonna, you know, people were gonna like burn us at the stake for it. Like I thought for sure it'd be like the end of my career as a game dev, and like people would never like forgive us, and then it would just be over. And I was so afraid of that happening that I just didn't want to. What? Get out of here. Thanks whoever deleted that. Unless it was me. I just banned them. A bot. That's crazy. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. I think it's just Seeking Adventure, like we announced it and it was like, here we go, like let's see what happens. And you know, because I just was super burnt out on Swords and Magic. I don't know if you guys noticed. A lot of people were saying that like every single stream I was just like super like frustrated and like in like a bad mood all the time, and I was for like a long time. I realized that was happening, and I don't know, it's I think just like switching gears and just being like, okay, I'm taking a break from this, I have to take a break from this, and actually taking a legitimate break and not working on it for a while has helped a lot. I think yesterday I think I worked on Imperium for a little while in the morning, set up some stuff I need to get done on there, and then I actually started working on Swords and Magic, and I felt fine about it. Like I feel fine about working on it again, but I am a little more detached now. Like I feel like I got the distance I needed, and I'm looking at it like almost like a relationship, you know when you get like that distance from relationship and you look at it like in a new light and you're like, oh, maybe this is not a healthy relationship to be in. I feel like I'm in that zone now with Swords and Magic, and I'm looking at it now realizing like it's okay if this game doesn't make it to like exactly what I want it to be. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's already far exceeded what I thought the game would ever be, ever. And so yeah, open up, hurry up, this thing's taking forever. Sorry, and it's probably a bad performance, whatever. Maybe the PTSD was the swords we magicked along the way. Yeah, probably. But you know, I think that's the thing, right? Like I think I learned so much from this project, and I can't complain about it, like, because not many indie devs are able to like launch their first commercial game and then like live on that for like, you know, 4 years. And that's pretty crazy, like that I was able to like survive that long. I mean, it's, you know, it's been pretty tight the last few months, the last like year or so, year and a half, 2 years. Yeah, it's been a while. We've had to tighten our belt a little bit around here. But like, I'm not complaining about it. I know I was for a while, but like, I don't know, looking back, it's just nice to know that like we were able to like launch a game that did so well, and like so many people really do love it. And that's pretty cool to me. And I'm excited about that, even if it wasn't exactly what we wanted it to be. So anyway, yeah, I would honestly probably be okay with just saying like, well, the game is what it is and it's finished now and I'm moving on, and just kind of quitting now. Like personally, I think I'd be okay with that, but I don't know, maybe not. There's definitely still like part of me that just wants to like wrap it up and do at least like one or two big like final updates that just like finish these things up and cleans up a bunch of the missing things and stuff, and then calls it like 1.0 and just done. I'm a little worried about that, because I know that when we hit 1.0, a lot of people who played it, like a lot of YouTubers and streamers and stuff who played it before, who are like waiting for a 1.0, are going to play it again. And I'm sure that 99% of them never saw like half the content in the game, so they won't know what we didn't finish, or what the state of the game was when they played it versus what it is now. And that's varying states, I'm sure, depending on who played it and when. But like, it worries me a little bit, just because I want to make sure that those people who do decide to start playing it, if they decide to do like a full, you know, series or something on it, that they actually have a good start, beginning, or start, middle, and end. Beginning, middle, and end. Dude, Mike, this is like it's always taken this long. It's so much, it feels so much longer right now compared to what it used to feel like. And it's not because it's gotten slower, it's just because I've been working on UE5 projects. Why is this open? What is this? It's a stupid new app that I need to uninstall. Anyway, but yeah, working in UE5, the last like couple projects we've been working on, it's literally instant to open levels and stuff and open the projects, and it's like, I don't know, it's night and day. It's insane. I mean, they're much smaller projects, but still. It never took you that long. Well, my PC's not exactly. You see the light now? Oh yeah, for sure. I always knew that this was getting bigger and bigger and slower, but this is like people are always like, why don't you just buckle down and finish the game? And I'm like, this like this and like many other reasons. The game is built on like popsicle sticks. Like it's falling apart, and every single time we add something new, it breaks everything else in the game, and it takes me like 3 weeks to go back and fix it all. It's just a big game. It just got way too big. But yeah, it's taking a long time to open. I also haven't opened it in a while because I don't normally open tier when we usually work in this mechanics level. But yeah, so for like the last few months, probably like the last like 6 months, maybe in a year, I've been talking about how I'm not making another big game. Like I've just decided that I wasn't never gonna do that again. And so this year I was just gonna release a bunch of small games, not a bunch, but like, you know, 1 or 2 small games. And so Jana and I had a couple ideas for games lined up that we were thinking about doing. But lately, I've had the itch to like work on something big again. And obviously, like Swords of Magic has been scratching that itch for a long time, so it hasn't been a big deal. Like I haven't wanted to like make an MMO or anything like that for a long time. But lately, I have been having a little bit of an itch again. And because I know the state of Swords of Magic, and I know we're not gonna be able to do all the things I'd love to do with it, like all the things that in a perfect world I would do. I have been thinking about what I'm going to use to scratch that itch with soon, and I think I know what it is. Do you think Swords of Magic would have been easier to develop if it focused on fewer systems and more world? Yes. And no. Like, if I just sculpted out a zone, threw in the foliage, added in some, like a village or whatever, you know, added in some custom models, threw in some NPCs, maybe made some new monsters for it or whatever, I can probably do all of that, and then made like some basic quests or something. I could probably do all that in like 3 months. Like trying to be realistic, like 3 months with like bug testing and everything, and then getting it out. Like you can probably do a new zone like every 3 months. If I just like cooked on that, like that's all I did, right? Like 40 hours a week. The problem is that that's like not that all there is to it, right? Like because that zone also has to have new weapons and new spells and new potions and new ingredients and new resources and new like monsters, you know, like I don't know, it feels pretty sloppy to just be like, there's a new zone, but there's only NPCs in it, like enemy NPCs, sorry. Like I don't know, like I feel like every zone needs a new monster or two, you know. Like we got bears and eagles, and what else did we get? It's just, I think just bears and eagles in Delver's Pass. So at least it felt somewhat new and interesting, you know. I just saw a video in my YouTube feed where someone reviews Seeking Adventure. Have you seen it? Maybe. I've seen a handful of the videos made. There's been a few of them. It was in your feed though. That's pretty cool. Let's go to YouTube and see. Oh, it looks like we're opening. Did it finally open? Oh, I'm doing a dumb thing. Went to YouTube and then. Oh snap! Indie Game Clinic reviewed it. Streamed it 3 hours ago. I'm not gonna watch it right now, but yeah. So I actually commented on his video where he was talking about. I think he played Thomas Brush's game from Next Fest, he was talking about doing a series on playing YouTubers games, YouTuber devs, indie YouTube, what I don't know what you call it, devs who make YouTube videos, playing their games, and reviewing them. And so I commented and I said, you are more than welcome to play mine. I thought he played Swords and Magic, not Seeking Adventure, but you know, whatever. That's cool though. And then he came and commented, I think he commented on Seeking Adventure and said it looked nice or something on the devlog or maybe the trailer for it. So that's cool. If you guys hear, I'll link it so you guys can watch it if you want to. Copy. There it is in Twitch, and here it is in YouTube. So that's the video review. Is that the one you're talking about? Indie Game Clinic was released 5 hours ago. Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. I probably wouldn't have seen that for a few days. Yeah, I'm excited to watch it. An hour and a half. No, that has to be a minute and a half, right? There's no way he played this for an hour and a half. Okay, like the last 30% of the video looks like him taking notes and critiquing, maybe? There's no way it's just that long. Is it really an hour and a half? It is. What did he do for an hour and a half? The game has like 10 minutes of gameplay. Some people got through it in like 4 minutes. Hey, what's up, golfer? Anyway, all right, so let's we should turn off some of these things. Like, we don't need this. Do we? I don't know what we need. Let's we'll turn off things as we we're gonna go through the world right now. We're gonna make a game plan. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna make a really, really loose game plan. What we're doing is we're taking stock. That's what we're gonna call this. We're taking stock of the state of the game and where we should go with it. So I think Castaway Rock is 100%. I think we're done here, right? Like, there's nothing on Castaway Rock. The only thing I'd like to do is I wanted to bring Ash back. Do you guys remember Ash that used to hang out here? She sold weapons. I don't really think she needs to sell weapons, but I kind of want to bring her back and just have like some orcs on the island. So because like there's no but there's just crabs. There's no real combat on the island anymore. And so one of the things that like people were saying is, I don't remember now, it's been a long time, but I think people were saying they wanted to like an NPC on the island just to like wrap up like you escaped. But you talk to Sen and he disappears here. And then you have what's his name up here? What's this guy's name? Clyde. So maybe that's not important, and I don't think it's important enough to like actually do it, but that was something I was considering doing. All this is good. I think blocking this off so players don't end up in the crab cave right away is also a good thing. I think the rare mini boss in the crab cave is also awesome, and I think people like that. I've been waiting for CM Simpson to discover it, and she may have, and I may have missed the video. So if you guys have seen a CM Simpson video where she discovers the gold claw in the cave there, can you link it to me, please? Because I need to watch it. I've seen her go in there like 3 times since the update, but he hasn't spawned for her, so she's just been getting unlucky. Noodle, go on the low carb, no noodle dev diet. Yes. I think there's let's see, I think there's value in something like that. Hold on, I messed something. You can do a Craftopia Power World rebrand and recycle S&M into a new IP. There's value in something like that. It would require some sort of strategic restart where you could get rid of Spaghetti while still retaining a bunch of IP. You taking notes of this? Oh, did I miss something? Hold on, I did miss stuff, sorry. When I'm done with the course I'm taking, I'm going to start making my game. Should I do devlogs during the very early stages or when I'm making the game mechanics? I think you should do devlogs the second you have something to show off. if you want to do a devlog, I don't think devlogs are necessary. I think a lot of people make successful games without doing devlog. But if your goal is to do devlogs and that's like something you want to do, then I would do it as soon as you're able. The thing about devlogs is you should be consistent. So if you are like doing it in your like pre-planning and then you don't have anything to show for another 3 months, you may as well not have started a devlog yet, right? Because you don't want to release a devlog and then wait like 3 months and release devlog 2, because unless you've done something, unless you release your first devlog and it like blows up, the people aren't going to wait 3 months for the next one. They're just going to forget about you. I know, because it happens to me all the time. Like I've been losing like 300 to 400 subscribers, like maybe not 300 to 400, like at least like 50 to like 300, somewhere in there, subscribers almost every month for like last year, until last month when I released Seeking Adventure, the devlog. Now our subscriber count is going back up, and that's like, finally. This feels nice. You're taking notes of your game plan that you're talking through. Not yet. But I will have a VOD so I can go back and watch through it again if I don't take notes, if I forget. But I should take notes. It's a good call. Sorry, you threw me off because you switched to YouTube, so I was trying to figure out why, what happened here. Maybe you're just trying to avoid ads. Anyway, yeah. So the rebrand idea, you know, me and Jana thought about this. In fact, we actually started doing something like this. It was going to be called Starlight Builders, and it was going to be a survival crafting game. Because I think where we went wrong with Swords and Magic, and this is something that Moz wanted to do early on, and I honestly, I kind of wish that I had just listened to him for this. I think there's a lot of things that Moz wanted to do that I didn't want to do that I'm glad we didn't do, but this is one of the things I definitely do think that we should have probably done. And I think it worked out how it did, or worked out fine how it did, but I think that's what helped. So Moz really wanted to make the building aspect in Swords and Magic just free. He wanted to build, like, players to just build wherever they wanted to. And so one of the compromises was, well, what if let's just put like boxes around places like towns and stuff where you can't build wherever you want, and then out in the wilds you can build whatever you want wherever you want. And that was the idea for a while, and I finally just shut it down because I was like, this game's in early access. If people are building in an area where we have to go through and change things and we like totally revamp things, their whole house is gonna be like stuck inside a mountain or something, or like whatever. Or if we put like a quest there or whatever, then it's gonna break the game for them. And so I decided against it and just decided, let's just do building in specific locations. And I think it's fine. I'm not like too mad about it or anything, but I think part of the reason like a lot of crafting games, even like the bad ones, go viral and blow up and make a ton of money and like get tons of like players and stuff, is just because you kind of make your own fun, right? So a lot of players will play those games and stream them because like they're building their own like version of the game world, and it's totally unique to them, and a lot of people like that freedom. And in Swords and Magic, we really like kind of hamstring that freedom. You have a little bit of freedom to build your own house, but it's very, very limited compared to like a survival crafting game. So back to Twitch. We'll want another 2-minute ad break. Yeah, fair enough. Should always listen to Moz. Yeah. No, I think Moz and I were on different wavelengths for a handful of things. I think him and I were both kind of going in different directions at one point in the game. But for the most part, yeah, I think him and I had a, like, if it weren't for Moz, this game would have never turned out how it is, obviously. But yeah, I don't know. We had a lot of points where it was like, okay, let's try that, and then it worked out. But anyway, but yeah, so Jan and I were talking about a game called it was going to be called Starlight Builders, and it was the idea was it was like pre-Tierwin. It was basically going to be Tierwin. Like, we were going to take the original, like the map we have now, like the terrain level and stuff, and just like gut everything else off of it. Like all the rocks and all that stuff would probably have stayed, and then we would have just gutted everything else, or maybe we would have rebuilt it. I don't remember. I think we were talking about rebuilding it, or just like changing it enough to make it different. But we're going to take like the same project essentially, or like migrate things over, and then make it an open world survival like crafting game. And the idea was that you were a star child or whatever, or like the people who built the Astral Forge and all those things. You were going to play with those people, and you were going to come down from meteorites, and so you were going to spawn somewhere randomly in a meteorite, and then you could meet up with friends or whatever who are also spawning randomly through meteorites in different areas, and then you'd like build up settlements. And that was the idea. I think it would be successful. I do. The problem with it is that I didn't want to start everything from scratch, and I didn't want to migrate a bunch of things over and have to like redo all that work to make basically a copy of the same game, right? Like I didn't want to like copy the whole combat system, and I didn't want to have to go copy all like I don't know. It just felt lazy, and it felt a little bit uninspired and a little bit like cheating. And I just after a while I was kind of like, I don't know if I like this idea anymore. 200 IQ strat. I have a feeling you've become less active on YouTube. I have become less active on YouTube, but mostly just because I haven't had really anything to talk about. Well, I have a lot of stuff to talk about, but a big part of it is just because I don't like making YouTube videos. I like the outcome of YouTube videos. Obviously, like I like watching videos get views. That's pretty fun. Obviously, I think everyone likes that though, and I like being able to like get my ideas across and have an audience that watches them and comments on them. Like obviously I like that a lot, but the problem is like editing sucks and I hate doing it. And what I really hate is having to sit down and like figure out what I'm going to talk about, try to stay on track. Cause like, look at the stream. We bounced around so much. Like we haven't done anything at all, and that's fine. I wasn't planning on getting a ton of work done. Today is just kind of like a recap and a chat session, which is kind of what Twitch has turned into now for me, or my streams have turned into, which is fine. But yeah, I don't know. I have a hard time focusing when I'm just like winging it, and so I have to write a script for every single video, and even my scripts go like super long-winded and out there, and I have to go. I've come to the point where I just like write a script, like, and it's like 3 freaking pages, and then I give it to GPT, and I'm like, can you like help me like narrow this down, please? And then it gives me like bullet points, and I'm like, oh, I should have just followed bullet points from the beginning. So I'm learning like better ways to write scripts now, which is good. And I'm starting with bullet points now rather than like writing 4 pages and then, you know, cutting it down. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. YouTube is just hard for me. It's just not my style, and it's not like something I'm good at. It is something I would like to do, and I'm really proud that we grew like 30,000 subscribers on there, and I would love to hit 100,000. Like that's always just kind of been a goal for me. But I've definitely let that fall off when Swords and Magic started like kind of burning me out. So, and I kind of just got sick of only talking about Swords and Magic for 4 years on there. I think part of it is just like I'm a little embarrassed, right? Like it's embarrassing because like the original idea was like we're gonna go into early access for a year, and then we launched the game 1.0 and we're done. And we had like 15 zones we were supposed to do in that time, and we didn't get 3 of them done, right? Like we were supposed to launch 3 zones in early access. We launched with 1. And then we added another zone a year and a half later, and then another year after that was the next zone. It's just like, I don't know, it's frustrating. Like there's so much work goes on. Like it's not like we're not doing any work. There's just so much more work than you think it is to make a game like this. And so it's just been, I don't know, whatever. Really enjoyed the Swords and Magic devlogs, watched all of them. That's awesome. Appreciate that. Uh-oh, somebody got timed out. Were they being naughty? Be creepy equals timeout. Okay. I love open world survival crafting games. Only game I'm trying to make. Yeah, I also do. I own so many of them, and they seem to be the only like games that I am like buying anymore. Which is crazy because like it feels almost like once you played one of them, you played kind of all of them. But I played like Frozen Flame, and then immediately bought Enshrouded, and then like I don't know, there's just so many that are like so similar, yet like they're still, I don't know, they're still interesting to me. There's something about the progression there, and like starting from nothing and building up, I think. And yeah, that's what my next project's going to be too. Like if I'm actually ready to tackle another big project, after we wrap up Swords and Magic, it'll be a solo crafting game. I already know what it's going to be if we do that. And it has a big inspiration, and I actually did a Reddit post on it. You're welcome to like sleuth around and try to find it if you want a spoiler about what it's going to be. And I posted in a very niche subreddit to find out if there was like any sort of interest in that, because it's very much very much inspired by a specific franchise. Like so much so that I actually considered looking into like getting rights to make a game for that franchise, but I decided that it's not worth having to like stick to their lore and have to like do things their way and answer to them. So I just decided that I'm just going to do my own thing. And no, it's not The Last Airbender, even though I would love to do that too. because I've talked about that on stream before, but it's not that. That's way too big. It's a smaller franchise than that. It's a book series. Anyway, moving on. But yeah, I like to do a survival crafting game. And that Reddit post did really well. It got like 100 likes, which is the most I've ever had on a Reddit post, and a bunch of comments and a lot of people saying they're really into it. So I think that's a good sign. I think there's definitely an audience for it. And I hope it's not just that small niche audience though. Hopefully it's bigger than that, but still trying to learn how to do all the mechanics and systems. Lots to it. Yeah. I think, it's crazy because like Swords and Magic has already done pretty much everything that a survival crafting game needs to do. It has base building, it has crafting, it has combat, it has a mana system and a health system, which is very similar to a hunger system, whatever. And we even have like a food system that's pretty similar to how I would probably do food in future survival crafting games too, where it just gives you buffs. I don't know if I think actually having a hunger system in this game would actually work really well in the future game I want to do. So I honestly think I'm at the point where I could do it. I think I might struggle a little bit with the multiplayer, and honestly probably just keeping the multiplayer like feeling nice and tight like it does in Swords and Magic, because Moz did a lot of work on that early on. A lot of really smart like ways to like cut back on data being sent back and forth and everything like he did. And I have like, which is nice because I have like a template to work off of, right? And I'm sure I could reach out to him and ask for help if I needed, because him and I are on really good terms now. Why you have 3 content browsers is disgusting. Why can't I have 3 content browsers, and why is that disgusting? I have an ultra wide monitor. It's illegal? Well, don't tell anyone, okay? I won't tell anyone that you're too young to use Twitch. Just kidding. And you don't tell anyone 3 content browsers. I'm just kidding. No, I don't know. I'm actually in UE5 I only have 2. I think I just had 3 in Swords and Magic because I do a lot of level design, and so I have like one open for like, usually I have one open for like I don't know, like rocks or something, and one open for like actors or something. I don't know why I have 3 open. I just do. Moving on. Still trying to learn, blah blah blah. And Shrouded is goated. I crave more content. Frozen Flame was such a disappointment. Agreed. Been thinking of rebooting Rockland to be an open world survival crafting game. That would be cool. That'd be cool. Yeah, I also think Frozen Flame was a disappointment. The art was there, nothing else was there. Where is the AI that automatically edits stuff? Yeah, I've actually been looking for that because they have AI now. Excuse me, sorry, I should not be drinking LaCroix apparently on stream. Makes me kind of burpy. But there's like AI that like you can just like give it a bunch of content and it'll like strip the content down and like find you clips and everything. But like, so it's kind of like editing, I guess. But I don't know why there's not an AI tool that just edits. Like, you can't just give it a bunch of content and it just edits it together for you. That would be, even if the quality wasn't there, like I wouldn't even care. I would still use it. Cause like I watch a lot of like Bite Me Games videos, which are great. And it's most like they release a video like I think it's like almost every day, every couple days anyway, at least a couple times a week. And then they like it's mostly just them talking in front of the camera, and they just edit in some gameplay footage from like things they're talking about. And honestly, I'm really tempted just to try that style out, like where I'm just talking about game dev stuff. Because another thing I've realized is like a lot of game dev YouTubers, there's the term I was looking for earlier. A lot of them like they talk about like all this stuff, like how to make games and stuff, but they don't really have games out. I mean, some of them definitely do. And some of them have games out that like, sold like 10 copies. And I'm not trying to like gatekeep or anything. They can talk about whatever they want, and they probably have the experience that they need to talk about those things. But I do feel like a lot of them I'm just like, oh, this is good advice, or maybe this isn't good advice, whatever. And then I realize they don't have any like experience making it. Like they've been doing it for like 6 months, and they're making like a game dev like design based channel, and I'm like, I don't know about this. So I do feel like I have the experience to like talk about a lot of stuff that I should talk about. Not a fan of Bite Me. The quantity over quality is so obvious there. Yeah, I do think some of like, I don't watch a lot of their stuff. Okay, I do watch a lot of their stuff, but I skip past a lot of the like tier list videos and stuff they do. That definitely feels like and he's admitted it too. I can't think of his name, but like he's admitted it several times where he like sometimes he just throws out a video because he needs to get one out. But that's the thing, right? I don't think it's their fault. Like, I think this is the YouTube algorithm at play. I think this is years and years of people having shorter and shorter attention spans, needing new content every hour, right? Because YouTube is just feeding off of that now, and that's what's become the most watched and what's most popular. And so if you don't release a video every single week, then you just get lost in the algorithm. Like you just get cut out. And that's what happened with Swords of Magic. Is it went from like they were really praising like long form videos where it was like 20-30 minutes of video, and we were doing that with like 15-20 minute devlogs every time. And then after a while that kind of died off, and so did our views on those videos. And then me waiting like a month, 2 months, sometimes 3 months before or between devlogs was also like killing our the algorithm for us. Not sure, it kind of depends on your target audience. True. Yeah, I don't know. I think that YouTube's algorithm will cut you out if you don't make video content often enough. Anyway, okay, let's move on. Let's talk about what we're doing here. Oh, and just to summarize the recap or the rebrand thing, I don't think I want to explore the Swords of Magic universe any further than I have. I have a lot of other ideas in my head, and I would rather explore a different universe. I know a lot of people like are like very much hung up on the idea of like building a massive like universe around their like franchise, or like building a franchise around like the universe they're building. And I can respect that, and I can totally get it, because like there are definitely things I've considered for Swords and Magic. But I think after 7 years, I'm just kind of looking at this project going, you know, there's other stuff out there, and I've grown a lot and I've changed a lot, and I really want to try new things. Like I want to go with a more mature art style for the next project, and I want to do things that are a little more in line with my current tastes. So as much as I would love to do a Swords and Magic spin-off, maybe if, you know, I become immortal, then I would do it. But I don't think I have enough time in my life to like keep making Swords and Magic games and make all the games that I want. So unless I make millions and I can hire a team to start working on a Swords and Magic game while I'm working on something else, then it's probably not going to happen. Anyway, I think all of this stuff here is pretty much wrapped up. I think the Lockjaw, like we kind of foreshadowed you can catch Lockjaws, but like there we really should have a Lockjaw in the water, right? I don't know. I don't think it's necessary though. But that's one of those things that's a little disappointing, I think, personally. The idea, like we had several plans and several game plans on how we were going to do a Lockjaw. The idea was we were just going to have this guy, with like an actual model, an actual like skeletal mesh of him that was like about, I think this big, somewhere around here. And she was just gonna be like hanging out at the bottom of the water here. Hey Soupy, thanks for the sub. She was just gonna be hanging out down here, and then if you tried swimming across here, instead of doing the like out of bounds thing like we're doing now, which was a fine compromise, I guess. If you swam across here, then we would just have her like aim toward you, basically like point toward you, and then swim up and then eat you, and then just dip back down. And you were just gonna get wonk, and it would just instantly kill you basically, and then it should dip back under the water. So you'd just be a ghost standing there. That was the idea, and I think it'd work great, but like, is it worth it? I don't know. Because like that's the thing, is like a lot of players would be like, well, now I got to kill that thing, right? And if we're not gonna have a water boss fight, because we're just not. But if we're not gonna like a boss fight for it, then I don't know if we're gonna do it. I don't think it's worth it. So let's move on from that idea. So yeah, so I think all of this stuff, a lot of people players thought that this house was eventually going to get built, and that wasn't really ever the plan. I mean, like, I don't know. You know, it's really difficult to make games where like a multiplayer RPG like this, where you want to have like impactful choices that change the world, but at the same time you can't, because you never know when a new player is going to come in and have to be able to make those same choices. And if the world's been impacted, you can't, right? which is kind of why like a survival crafting game I like the idea of, because you don't have to worry about that as much. You don't, it's not so much RPG as it is like it's just a game world. So if like players go in and change the world, it's fine, because if new players come into that world, they were expecting it to be changed already. They weren't expecting to like go back through the world and do everything from scratch again. But if you join someone's world in Swords and Magic, you are expecting to be able to go through the whole storyline again and like play the RPG, because it's an RPG. And it does, like, it's just, you just can't make those like big changes like that. I can't tell you how hard it was to like just to not flood Delver's Pass with lava for the storyline quest that's going on there. Oh, that's a huge spoiler. I just realized that's not out yet. But Delver's Pass was like has a storyline going on there that could potentially flood the whole thing with lava. And I really, 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 really wanted to do it, because it would be such an impactful like, well, you made a bad choice and now the whole world has changed for it, and that's on you. But like, it's just not that, like, the zone's not that important of a zone, and it's like it would impact so many players that go back through that zone in that world, and like you couldn't go back and talk to the NPCs in that zone. It could lock you on a bunch of quests, and so it was just kind of like, it's not worth it, you know? Like, it would take like a week to like build, and like another week to like test and bug fix, I'm sure. Plus you got like multiplayer issues where like, what if it doesn't load for one player or something? Like, it's just, it wasn't worth the effort. So what else? This area, this was supposed to be like a Mage's Vault thing. We're obviously not doing this anymore. This was supposed to, I don't know if you guys remember, early in the game when we did our very first like playtest, like combat playtest, which had way more players in than I thought we were gonna have, and it was like an invite only thing. There was like this magic orb here that would pop up. You talk to Roderick and he would start a little quest here, and then all these slimes would pop out of like a bunch of rocks. That's what all these little cracks are. All these were like slime spawners. They're not used anywhere else in the game, but they would spawn slimes. I don't think they spawn from behind it though, but that's what they're here for. And then they would slowly like make their way to the orb, and if they hit the orb, they did damage to it. And the orb was a Mage Vault. I think it was called the Mage Vault, which is like a magical like pocket dimension, I guess, that just the mages would use to like hide their like loot or their treasure or whatever. And you had to like cast a big spell or whatever to open it. So Roderick was casting the spell for you, and then once the vault was unlocked, oh, and also all the magic was all the reason the slimes wanted it was because it was like bugs to a bug zapper. Like it was like a blue light. So like mages or slimes are attracted to magic in this world. So they would like ooze toward it and then run into it, and then it would kill them or whatever, and then they would do damage to the vault, and the vault would get damaged and they wouldn't be able to open it. So you have to do it again. And then if you got to the end, the vault would like pop and all the loot would fall out of it that was in the vault. So it just like it was like a bag of holding sort of, I guess, and all the loot would just pop out at the end. And that was like a mini game, and the plan was to have that in the game. So you could just, there was a quest, so you could just do it in the game, and it would start like this event, and then other players could contribute to it, and it'd just be something you could do over and over again if you wanted, or maybe like once a day or something. And I love the idea, and I'd love to put it in, but I just don't think it's worth it at this point. It's like, it's so past like when it was supposed to be in. And there were supposed to be several of these around the world. Like we're gonna do one in like each zone. There'd just be like a Mage Vault, and you get like new loot from each one. And that was like one of our fatal flaws, was like, we just decided, well, let's not do it again because we don't want to do the same thing in every zone. And then because of that, we did unique new things in every single zone, and eventually we ran out of time. So that's fine. We're not doing that. Crab Cave is done. This jungle area is fine. It's not perfect, but it's done. These quests over here are fine. I don't think this needs change. The only issue here is like, they're supposed to be part of a storyline quest for the goblins. Goblin area is perfect except for this right here. Everyone wants to get into this cave down here, obviously. And right behind this wall, there's a dungeon entrance. And there's a whole dungeon in here. Where is this? Is it not in here? Goblin puzzle. It's either of those. I don't know which one it is then. Is it it's a dungeon? Well, there's definitely a level. We definitely have Azura in it. It's been so long. What the heck is it called? Oh, maybe it's... No. What is it called? Imagine if this was just like deleted like years ago and I just like we just moved on because no one's like looked in here in that long, and so we just didn't realize it was deleted. I don't even know. I don't even remember where there it is. I assume it'd be under the Azura folder. Not the goblin one. Dungeon, lava cave, crab cave. I think that we're just gonna open this cave up though. And we're just gonna make it like almost like the spider cave. I think that's what we're gonna do with this. There's supposed to be a boss at the end of it. I don't know if it's worth it. This was gonna be saved for when we were ready to do the storyline on Azura. Gobbo Cave. There it is. I don't know why wouldn't we call it that? Okay, let's go back to the beginning of it. So yeah, you go through here. You would meet up at this thing and interact with it. It would give you a pop-up and say like, who's in the room with you? And then when everyone was in the room and you were ready, you would just say like, start dungeon or whatever. It would close and lock this door. And then once that door is closed and locked, it would pop up and be like, everyone ready or something. And then it would open this door. I don't know. You'd probably say everyone's ready first. And then this would be the dungeon. And I think there's supposed to be a shop over here. I think the idea was there's a goblin shop here, and then you would get loot inside this dungeon and that you could trade in back to him to get special like goblin things like masks and stuff, like goblin masks and goblin gear and goblin weapons and stuff like that. I don't know, it's been a while since I've been in here. I don't remember there being a door there or why there's a door there. There should be... Oh, maybe it was in here. This is him. This is the goblin merchant guy. Why is this sword stuck in here? It's been so long since I've seen this. It's not what I remember it being. Is this the dead end now? I also don't remember this being a dead end. I think you could... Yeah, you... Oh, we must have blocked it off. I think we just blocked it off because it was too big. Yeah. Pretty sure we just blocked it off because it was just too big and it wasn't worth decorating the whole thing. So this is the start. I guess you go this way. There'd be like goblin archers up here. It's all like fleshed out and ready to go. Just needs to be out. This was like a lot bigger. I think it used to be open. Maybe not. I don't know if it was open or not. You go in here. There's a puzzle. Actually, was this room this puzzle? No. This room had a puzzle. No. This room had the puzzle. So this room's supposed to have a puzzle where you get fish from these barrels. And you put them Was it that room? I thought it was that room. Must be that room. Yeah, there's supposed to be like a scale or something that's like hanging from the ceiling here, and you put a certain number of fish on it to add up to a certain number. Like the red fish should be worth 3 or 5 or something like that. The blue fish should be worth 3, and then what, like the green fish or whatever would be worth like 1. And so you have to like put them on there to like put a certain number of like weight on the platform, whatever, to balance it out on the scale. And then once it was balanced out, then the door would open and unlock. But every time you pick up fish, the goblin would spawn and attack you, or they would just continually spawn while you're doing the puzzle to make it a challenge. We built this whole system and we just never used it. That was the like picking up things like the cauldron in the Grimwick fight was originally built like picking things up and carrying around was built for this puzzle, and then we just repurposed it in like a bunch of different places. This was not meant to be like a commentary stream, but it is nice like revisiting old areas and talking about them and everything. Anyway, you go under here, and this is the boss room, right? You can go back up through here if you go back around the other way. And then this is the boss room. Yeah, I forgot we like redid this whole thing. And all these goblins would just be standing up here, and then during the boss fight, they would one at a time randomly jump down and join the fight until they were gone, obviously. But here's the boss. This is the king, Goblin King. And he doesn't have any animations. I think Ryuthamus actually animated him, but we just weren't happy with the animations or something. I don't remember what happened. Maybe it wasn't Ryu, maybe it was someone else. And ended up not using them, and mostly just because like we didn't have time to build all this, and we didn't want to build the whole boss fight and everything. But I don't know, if we decide to use him, maybe we'll just throw in Mixamo and just grab some like generic like animations or something, or just like grab a pack or something. I think we actually tried that at one point. We just kind of like gave him some animations and he looked okay. Anyway, and then this would open up. I haven't used these notes in so long. But yeah, you'd interact with that, and then it would teleport you back to the beginning of the dungeon, probably. Anyway, that's the Goblin Dungeon that has been closed off for 4 years, that we have never opened. Oh, I think devlogs from Danny 2-star are great if you want to target gamers. Videos target developers. If you want to do well, you probably need to target gamers more. Well, Animosity, here's my take on that. I know a lot of people talk about this, how they talk about like if your target audience is developers, you're not going to sell games, whatever. But like, developers are gamers. If there's anyone out there who's making games but they don't play games and they don't buy games, they shouldn't be making games. They're not making good games, right? Like, everyone who makes games plays games. And if you're watching a let's say you hate first-person shooters. Let's just say like that's just like you're not into first-person shooters, right? That's like not your cup of tea at all, right? Unless there's some really, really good reason, or like they're talking about marketing or something, and even then, like, I just don't see it. Like, so if you're watching a devlog about a game that's being made, it's probably because that is a game that's a genre that interests you, or a type of game or whatever that interests you, and there's a really good chance that you're probably considering buying that game, even if you're not at the moment considering buying it. It's probably something that you would consider buying. So I think that if you're targeting developers, that's fine. They're just a subset of gamers. And honestly, I think developers, I don't know, I feel like they probably play more games than other gamers do. Like, if you just pick like a regular gamer, like let's just pick my daughter, for example, right? She's a good example. She's 10 years old. She plays video games. Maybe she's not the prime example, but she's an example. But if you asked her how many games she's bought in the last year, she's gonna tell you none, or maybe one, maybe two. I don't remember. I think she bought oh man, what's it called? Little Nightmares. I think that's the only game she's bought in the last year. I mean, she's 10, and we do buy her games sometimes to play when we're gonna play together, but we rarely do that. Like, that's like maybe twice a year, or we like buy games as a family and play together. But yeah, for the most part, she doesn't buy games, but she plays a lot of Roblox, and her friends play a lot of Fortnite, and she plays Minecraft. So like, I don't know, it kind of depends on who you're targeting, I guess. I mean, obviously I wouldn't be trying to target 10-year-old girls to play Swords and Magic, because it's not quite the audience we're looking for. But still, I'm just saying, like, a lot of people who do play games play the games they play, right? And they're not, I just feel like developers are the people who are out there like getting outside their genre and trying new games and stuff way more often than most gamers do. I think your typical gamer is like a COD player or a Fortnite player, and that's all they're doing. I'm not saying there's not players out there who, you know, what is this? Oh, got it. There's no blocking volume, so you can't climb up on the things and kill him. Anyway, and you can take all that with a grain of salt, because obviously, like, there's a lot of gamers out there who play lots of games and buy lots of games, but arena style wizard game would be nice. You know what's funny is early on when I was working with Victoria on this project before Moz came along, this was a programmer before Moz, the first programmer I worked with. Her and I did not work out. I ended up moving to Washington while I was working with her, and when I finally got back to work, she hadn't done anything, and I was like, okay, well, I mean, I didn't do much either, but I was living in a hotel room, so I really didn't have my computer or anything like that, so there wasn't much I can do. But anyway, yeah, so no work got done on that, and so we ended up scrapping it. But at one point, what we were going to do is we're going to switch from an open world game, because we realized it was going to be a lot of work and multiplayer was going to be hard. And so we ended up doing, or we were planning on switching to a like PvP, almost like a team-based shooter, almost like Overwatch. I don't think Overwatch was around then. Maybe it was. It probably was. It was probably just like brand new. But it was more like picture like your 5-man or 4-man, I think 5-man like dungeon crawling team for like your World of Warcraft dungeon or whatever. It was like that, but there were two teams and they were fighting each other, and that was the whole plan. It was like PvP. I don't know why, but yeah, that was the idea. So we did that for like a month, where we were like, yeah, let's make this game instead. Let's pivot to this, and then we didn't do that, which is actually probably a good thing, because that game would have died right away. Anyway, so I don't know what to do without the Goblin Dungeon. I think we could just open it up. We have enough stuff. We could probably sell some cosmetic stuff, like we have some outfits you could probably buy. Like, we definitely have goblin outfits, and we have like goblin masks you could get. And there's definitely there's like 2 goblin weapons that were supposed to be the boss's weapons, that you could get, like a shield, and a big ham hock mace that he uses. They were supposed to drop from him as the boss, obviously, but I don't know, maybe we just open this up and let players just explore the dungeon and just like maybe collect something through the dungeon, maybe like goblin artifacts or something, I don't know, whatever, and then you just bring him back to the guy in the beginning and he'll just sell you stuff for him. I don't know. Personally, I think the only thing this game is missing is skill trees and dungeons, which I know are a whole thing. Astral Plane, Lockjaw, raid boss confirmed. Skill trees and dungeons. I don't remember exactly where skill trees are at, but I'm pretty sure they're at least another month out. Like, if I just like was working on this full time, probably another month out. But that includes like testing and like making sure. I think they're actually pretty close. And I've said this I've said this several times, where it was like, yeah, just next month, like we'll have skill trees done and ready for testing. Which is why we asked everyone to sign up to test them forever ago, and then we haven't done that yet because we just haven't ever got around to them. What's up, Arrow? Welcome in. I don't know. I'm torn on it. Part of me is like sunk cost fallacy. I just need to finish the skill trees and get them out. And dungeons would be great, but every dungeon I'd add, we have to add a boss for, right? And this would be a great one to like add in, but then I feel guilty, like, well, there's no farmlands boss. There's no farmlands dungeon. And then I think, well, let's just turn the spider cave into a dungeon, because that's kind of what it's supposed to be in the first place. And then we'll just make like new types of spiders or whatever for it, and that's easy. But then it's like, is it easy? Is it worth doing that? I don't know. Like, part of me is just kind of like, let's just scrap it, because it like we never even got to the testing phase. And it's not worth adding in like skill trees and stuff, and I'd rather just move on to a new project. So I don't know. You don't need to do it all at once. You can release these skill trees. Yeah, but again, even skill trees, I think without I mean, like, yeah, I don't know. They work without dungeons, but like that was the whole point of skill trees, was like I did really want dungeons. And honestly, like maybe just having like one dungeon is like the final hurrah in the game would be fine, you know? Maybe we just have like you know, the Chillthorn Hollow cave in Windless Woods over here was also supposed to be a dungeon. Like, this whole thing was supposed to be a dungeon you go through as well, which is not loaded, obviously. Oh. Duh. Have to turn on all of Windless Woods, I guess. But yeah, you're supposed to go through this, and it was supposed to be like a dungeon. Like, you're like pulling and fighting, and then pulling, and then fighting, and healing, and pulling, and fighting, and healing, and that was the plan for this one too. But the problem with it is, like, once you get to this area, you can just drop down, and if you just drop down, you skip like all of the dungeon. I don't know. Probably not worth the effort now. But I was actually just thinking the other night, maybe like we do a lot of talking about Alloran City in the dialogue and stuff, and because of that, it's really hard to like justify just doing this. But I was considering this area right here, just making a big castle and making that like Owen's castle, and he's missing, and then when you finish up whatever, you could just go in there. There's just like a path, whatever, that goes up through the trees here and then goes to the castle, and just be a one massive castle. And instead of like being Alloran City, it would just be like, this is the like the town or whatever, and then you go up to the castle where the nobles live or whatever. And then the idea was like, or I don't know, there wasn't an idea, but maybe there's like a, maybe when you get there, then obviously the castle's been taken over by whoever, I don't know. Maybe when you get there, the castle's fine, and then after you finish like the corruption quest in like Windless Woods or something, maybe that's when it like you get a letter or something, and it's like from Owen or something, or from Eben or whatever, and they're like, can you meet us here or whatever, we need a hero or something, I don't know. And then maybe that like kicks off like the last section of the game, and then you go to the castle and it's like a dungeon, you know? That wouldn't be too bad if we just make like one castle that it's like a full dungeon, and then we just have a big boss at the end of it that's like taking over the kingdom, and then you just beat him. I don't know, it feels like it wouldn't be super satisfying, but at least it would be an ending, and it wouldn't be too bad. We would just have to like we have to like scrap the Alloran City dialogue like everywhere, and then just talk about, or I mean, Alloran City could just be somewhere else, I guess. I don't know. I don't think we ever talked about like Owen being in Alloran City, like that being like where the keep is. So maybe the castle's just here, and we just get rid of, because that area is supposed to be Blackrook Vale, which is like a swampland, not swamp. It's like a haunted forest. It can be in Swords of Magic too. I'm saying more in the sense that it doesn't surprise me that Danny has more viewers subs. Oh yeah, for sure. I agree with that. I think a lot of it is just like, I don't even, I mean, like, yes, obviously if your videos are targeting developers, your developers are not there to find new games to buy either. So that there's like a part of that, like developers there to learn more, or to learn, or like just to get inspired to work, not inspired to play games. So there is definitely an aspect there. But yeah, obviously, like, there's a different target audience here. Like, if you're not a developer, you can still watch a Danny video because it's still interesting seeing the shenanigans of game development and see what goes wrong and what goes right, and he's also like just funny or whatever. But there's also like kind of a dark side to it, right? Because like he's also disappeared for a long time, and his game Carlson, I think is what it was called, is probably never going to come out, right? And it has a ton of people like waiting for it. So like he might have just like burnt his whole career down because he grew too fast and like flew too close to the sun or whatever. I don't know. I think this game as your first commercial project is such a huge accomplishment, even as it stands. Totally agree. Totally agree. I think we already talked about that earlier too, before you came in, Arrow. I was talking about how like I know I was really negative the last like year of development on this, but now that I've had like a step back, like I'm really proud of what like I was able to do for this first commercial game. It's honestly, I think it's very impressive. Coming from me, I'm biased, but still. New game ideas: Swords and Magic assets in combat, Fellowship gameplay, i.e. semi-roguelike dungeon crawler with hub-based matchmaking. Can be in SNM 2. Yeah, Matt, I also love the idea of that a lot. I don't know about Swords and Magic assets, but yes, pretty much everything else I love. The thing about Fellowship that I think is going to hurt them a lot is that instead of giving players a new character they create and they level up and they customize and they get whatever, you are playing a pre-made character, and as far as I know, pre-made armor, and I assume what they're going to do is sell cosmetics to change what those characters look like. And I think that's the dumbest thing they can do. Okay, maybe not the dumbest thing, but it's a dumb thing they can do. Because I've already seen people in their Steam comments saying like, why are we playing pre-made characters in a dungeon crawling game that's meant to like imitate like World of Warcraft raids? Like, why would we want to play a pre-made character? We want to create our own characters. And they might just change that, I don't know, but I don't think so. So yeah, I agree, and that's what I would definitely change if I did that, something like that. Honestly, it's super inspiring as an aspiring developer. Yeah, well, it's also scary, isn't it? Like, in my shoes, I think it's a little scary because I don't want everyone to think that you can just go make a big open world RPG in like, you know, overnight and then have like success. Cause like, I don't know how it worked for us. I think a lot of it, I think, is just kind of like, we just got lucky. Like for starters, our Kickstarter went live right when everyone was starting to get their like, their stimulus checks during the pandemic. And people were like at home, bored. Actually, I think it was before that. I think that's wrong. It was April of 2020. I think. Yeah, it was April of 2020. So I don't think we were getting our stimulus checks yet. I think we were just getting into lockdown. And I think what's happening is that people were at home. They still had money. They weren't hurting yet. And so everyone just kind of went nuts and like backed Swords of Magic. I don't know. And then I think it was still like going okay when the game launched too. And we just kind of got lucky there. Yeah, I think Fellowship going the League of Legends route, having preset champions is dumb. Agreed. Yeah, so when I saw Fellowship, one, I was really into it because I love the idea of running dungeons in World of Warcraft, but I don't have countless hours to spend leveling up my character and doing all that. And I also love sitting down at the end of the day and playing the finals because it's very short matches. I can literally just play like one match in like 10 minutes or so and be done. And if I want to play again, I can. And if I don't, then I can be done and do something else. And there's just something about like short matches, high adrenaline, like fast-paced gameplay that just feels so good to just be able to like knock one game out and then you can just do that back to back as long as you want to, rather than sitting down. Like, I've been trying so hard to get back into Elder Scrolls Online for the last like couple of years that I keep updating it, and every time I update it, it takes like 3 hours, and then I'm not in the mood to play anymore. And then I'll like play for like 20 minutes one day, and I'm just like, oh my god, it's gonna take me like years to get to like where I need to like be competitive in this game, to actually like be like have the stuff I need to do things and like heal a dungeon or whatever, which is all I want to do. And then by the time then I like get burnt out, or I don't want to play it again for a few days, or there's an update and the update takes 3 hours, then I'm just not in the mood to play anymore, and then the cycle repeats. But I've had it installed for like 3 years, and I've probably played an hour in the last 3 years. And so like the idea that you can just sit down and group up with some random people and do a dungeon run together at any level, it doesn't matter. Like you don't have to be geared, whatever, like, and you just run through a dungeon and potentially like level up your character and get some new loot and equip your character, and then just queue up for another dungeon run. And like you can just be a healer and heal dungeons and play the whole game as a healer. That is so compelling to me, because especially if like a dungeon is like 20 minutes, right? If I can sit down and play like one dungeon for like 20 minutes, 10 to 20 minutes or whatever, that sounds so good to me. And I don't know if Fellowship's going to be that, but it sounds like it's going to be, and that's what I'm hyped for. I'm really mad that I didn't get to play it during Next Fest, because we were doing the game jam at the same time. But yeah, that's a big thing, is like, because I have to play like pre-made characters, it means I'm going to look exactly like all the other pre-made characters like that. And if I can't play that character I want to play because it's someone else locked it in, then that sucks. And that, like, I don't want to do that, right? I much rather make a character and level them up and like play that way. And I do think it's a lot easier, obviously, to just make 5 pre-made characters and just be like, this is what you get, right? Because then you don't have to worry about customization, you don't have to worry about a bunch of different armor, you don't have to worry about all that stuff. But I think you just lose a lot of that like role-playing experience by doing that. Yeah, this is UE4. What's up, Ryu? Yeah, no, this is UE4. It's UE4 26. It is a very old version of the engine, and we tried upgrading to 5. In fact, what's funny, I don't know if you're still in here, Mike, but you and I went through the paces trying to update to UE5 and realized it wasn't going to work. Yesterday, I was talking about switching, or how it's nice. It's been so nice working in UE5, and how much faster it is, and how much cleaner the UI is, and all the like little quality of life updates and stuff, and all the new features and everything. And Jana's like, why don't we just move Swords of Magic to UE5 and like clean up the project and like optimize it and everything? And I was like, no, we've been through this. And she like forgets all the pain that we went through to do that, apparently. Anyway, yeah, when I played Final Fantasy 14, I only had the energy to log on a dungeon queue for dailies and log off. Skipping straight to a dungeon experience, great idea. Agreed. And I've been wanting to do this game for a long time. I literally have a project. I'm gonna open it. I want to show it off. Maybe. I don't know why this stupid launcher takes so long to open. Where is it? It's in here somewhere. Just have to find it. This one? I don't know if I even have this engine installed. I guess I do. It'll open in a minute. Anyway, the idea was I wanted to make a game for the Switch at one point. And I start all these little projects as like just to prototype them, you know, on like the weekend or whatever when I get bored. It happens. I think all developers do it. But the idea was like I really wanted to make a game that was like Switch friendly, right? And so it was controller support from the beginning. It was split screen or shared. It was shared screen actually. And the idea was like I wanted to make something kind of like Boomerang Fu. If you guys have played that, it's like a party game where you have boomerangs and you can slash with them like they're a sword. And one hit and you're dead, or you can throw it. And then there's like however many players you can fit on a screen, and there are bots also. And it's usually like the last one standing. There's a lot of different game modes and stuff, and there's like power-ups and other things too, like that expand the game and just make it a lot more deep. But I was like, you know, there's another game that I played a while ago. I think it was also on the Switch. Maybe it was on PlayStation. I remember my brother-in-law had it. And it's similar to Boomerang Fu, but it was like fantasy-based, I think. Here it because I don't think I have a controller plugged in, so I cannot test it fully, but maybe I can. Maybe I... Nope, I didn't. I do have a controller. Hang on. But like the idea was like I just want to make something like that, and then fantasy based and like team based. Oh, maybe not. Maybe it's not going to let me play. Maybe because I need to. Oh, there it goes. So you just like this feels bad. There we go. Go back and forth to find your character, or whatever. These are KKit assets, by the way. So you just pick a character. I think some of them work, others don't. There's only one character in, so yeah. And then I think this character can slash, and then B dashes for this character and does like a dashing like stab thing. And the idea was like, did you guys ever play Steal the Treasure as a kid? In gym or in PE, we always played this game called Steal the Treasure when I was in elementary school, which was just like literally just like your gymnasium split in two sides. And if you ran on the other side of the half court or whatever, you would you could be tagged and you'd be out. You get thrown in jail, and then you have to go to their jail. And if someone on your team could run to you in time and tag you in the jail without getting tagged themselves, they could take you back to your side safe, and you were free. And then if you grabbed, and then the treasure were like safety cones, like traffic cones, and if you grabbed a traffic cone without getting touched, you could carry it back free to your side, and you'd get more things. And the idea was to steal the other person's treasure. And I was obsessed with that game. I thought it was so much fun. There was just like enough like depth to it where it was like, it wasn't just like getting the treasure, so it was like capture the flag, but it was like multiple treasure. Like each team had like 3 cones or whatever. But then also you had like the jail component to it too. So you could be like the last person on your team, and then I think you got to the jail, you got everyone out, or like I think you rescued everyone from the jail, not just one person at a time. I could be wrong. I don't remember. I remember there being like a chain of people you like got out of jail, but anyway. But like the idea was, I just like the depth of it. So I was like, let's just make that into a video game, and we'll do like a shared split screen or shared screen party game out of that. I don't know, it's not great. But then I was like, this isn't like working how I want it to work. The dash doesn't work anymore, I guess. But that does work. And then because there's no one left on the team, I win. So the idea was that if you died, you went to the jail, and then yeah, that's the game, and then you start again. But then I was like, I don't think this is gonna work very well, because one, you need like 3 or 5 people on a team to play, so like matchmaking is gonna be a pain, and it's probably not gonna happen. And then after a while, I was like, I don't know if this game's gonna work at all. Like I kind of want to give up on this. And then I thought, if I wanted to convert this into an actual game that actually would work, it'd be cooler to do like a dungeon crawling thing but like instead of a dungeon crawling thing, it was like almost like League of Legends. I don't know. I don't remember it. I don't remember enough to like explain all this. But the idea was basically Fellowship, was what I came down to. Sort of like a more casual like co-op Steam or Switch ready Fellowship kind of game. KKit, yeah. I don't know, an Overwatch style dungeon crawler sounds kind of fun. Yeah, that's kind of what it would be like. Oh, I see what you're saying. That's what Fellowship's gonna be. So maybe oh, we're in an ad. I mean, you guys, whatever, you guys are subbed, you can see. Anyway, I don't know about a Swords and Magic one. The problem with Swords and Magic is that it's just built on such a terrible foundation, and not throwing shade at anyone who built the foundation. It was built when the foundation was like the game, right? Like that was all the whole game. And then we just kept adding more and more things on it, so the foundation can't hold it up anymore. But it's really poorly optimized, and that's my fault for like the way I did 3D modeling, because I didn't know what I was doing. And there's just a lot of like bloat and a lot of just stuff that's just like hacked together because it wasn't built with all the features that we have now in mind. And so if I wanted to use this, the only thing I could really pull out of this probably would be like assets and materials. And even then, like that's like a major part of the game that I want to change. Like if I was gonna remake Swords of Magic, the art style would be one of the things I'd want to change. I think the art style is charming, but I think we actually lost a lot of potential players because of the art style. I think when people see the cube head characters, they immediately think like Minecraft, and they just think like low quality, and so they just assume it's going to be a bad game. Like they assume the combat's going to feel janky. Sorry, I didn't mean to bump my phone. They assume that it's going to be low quality and bad. And I think we lost a lot of players because of that. So if I wanted to if I was going to redo Swords and Magic, I would redo at least the character models to make them less cubey, which would probably mean I have to redo a whole bunch of other stuff too. A bunch of art. And then the art is also like super poorly optimized, right? Like one of these tents has 5 different material slots on it, which means one of these tents is 6 draw calls at least. And it also has transparency. Oh no, it doesn't have transparency. That's in the mesh. But like, yeah, it's like 6 draw calls for a single tent. And then like this barrel of arrows here also probably has a bunch of draw calls. Yeah, because it's like multiple different things. And then, yeah, I don't know. It's expensive. Luckily, like the visuals are like the lower end of things. Like they're not that big of a deal. It's more the processor stuff going on behind the scenes. Because there's a ton of NPCs and ton of AI and ton of like stuff going on. So yeah, if I wanted to like reuse the Swords and Magic stuff to make a new game, I couldn't like really use any of the code. Maybe a little bit here and there, but like really not much. And I don't know if it's worth it. I don't know. I would love to make like a Fellowship type like dungeon crawler game. I just don't know if it's... I don't know if I have the capabilities to make a game that would have enough, like, because here's another thing to think about, right? Like when you do a first person shooter or like a PvP style game at all, and your game relies on having players to play with and to play against, you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot as an indie dev, because unless your game seriously blows up, I'm talking like really, really blows up, you're not going to have enough of an audience, enough of a player base to sustain the gameplay. And if you can't find, like, especially in PvP, it wouldn't be so bad in this, in like a PvE like dungeon crawler thing. But like if you don't have enough players to like find a group to play with, especially if you do like a level based thing where your players can level up, then you would need players around the same level. So you're cutting out a huge portion of your player base already by not allowing level 20s or whatever into your level 2 dungeon. Assuming there's only 20 levels. If you do 100 levels, it's even worse, right? It depends on how big that spread is and how many dungeons and everything you have. But you have like this, you just run into this situation where there's not enough players to play the game, and so you end up in queues for like 20 minutes or whatever, or you just end up not being able to play at all, or you end up pulling players from too wide of a level like range, and then like one player just like mops the floor because they're in a dungeon that's way too low level or whatever, or the levels or the dungeon scales for that character, and then the lower level characters kind of suck. Or you have to do a thing where like all the like the higher level characters like are like neutered essentially, or maybe lack of a better word, so they're like clamped to the same level, and so then they don't have like the power that they normally would have or whatever. I don't know, there's just I guess there's a lot of ways you can get around it, but you still are required to have like 5 players ready to play. And I think like you have to have like some random matchmaking, because it would feel like if you had to rely on friends like you would in Swords of Magic to run dungeons, I think that'd feel really bad. So I think having like actual matchmaking is like the only way to do it. This is something I would probably close up. We probably either close it up or just add like a little puzzle here or whatever that just opens up. This dungeon's gone. What dungeon is this? Archaeologist dungeon? Obviously not that one. It's this one. I think this is just supposed to be like a level. Oh, a streaming level trigger. This cuts right into the cave here. So that was an oversight. So this whole thing would have to be changed anyway because it doesn't even fit in here now. But this was supposed to be a dungeon early on. This is way too small for a dungeon. And this is like the main room. And then this is the boss fight room. But like none of this would have worked. It's too small. I don't know what this is supposed to be. Elevator maybe? Anyway, I think this would probably just get closed up, or we would just open it and just like maybe close here, and we can just get rid of all this stuff past here and close this up and just put like the one little room in here. There's like a maybe we'll do that. Maybe that's how we'll handle this. What we do, just like a wheel puzzle maybe, and then just like maybe put the solution in here or a hint to the solution in here, and we just change this because this was like a book by Eben, who he was like, I think he was investigating this place or something, and then he got called back because the king went missing or whatever, so he hasn't come back. And then, yeah, we could probably just change this whole thing. Can we just put a wheel here, do you think? Gotta love the Sims music. A little big. I guess we could get like rid of these things. But we need 3 of them, right? I don't think we can. Actually need to grab puzzle wheel and this at the same time. Not all of them. Whoops. Guess we can maybe scale it down. You can't fit 3 here though. It's huge. I don't know, probably not worth it. Yeah, I make all the assets myself. What's that V noise? Yeah, I do all the modeling myself. I don't know, I like the idea of that, but I just don't think it's worth it. I don't know what else we would do for a puzzle here though to get this open. Maybe we just do like a key and we just hide it somewhere else. That'd be fine. There's probably a button or a lever. You can just make one though. I think we're doing that. Are there 2 of these? Oh, for real? There we go. There are. Maybe one of these is in the level. Nope, there's just 2 of these randomly. There are 2 of these. Nope. I think we're just gonna delete all this. Kind of sucks. Like, I modeled all this. These used to move. I don't know why the bubbles aren't moving anymore. got like all these crystals in here because this whole thing is like growing these crystals. It was like this whole big thing. There's like a whole storyline around it and everything, but I don't know. Making a puzzle game? Nope, it's an open world RPG with puzzles in it. Some puzzles, just for like random things. It's a huge open world RPG. I've been making it for 7 years. It's out. It's out in early access. You can play it right now. There's lots of time in it. What's up, Thomas? Yeah, it's called Swords of Magic and stuff. There's a link in the description probably. Yeah, I've been making it for a long time. It launched in 2020, and I'm actually wrapping it up now. We're actually just right now. The scope got a little crazy. We used to have a team of 4 to 5 people, different times, and we ran out of money. It just stopped selling as well, and our updates just weren't as like impactful as they used to be. So eventually, we just kind of ran out of money, and so we let everyone go. And now it's just me working on it solo. My wife helps a little bit here and there. But we do this full time. We make games for full time. And I was really burnt out working on it solo for so long. So the last few months I've been working on a new game called Seeking Adventure, which is in we have a demo out on Steam, but the game launches later this year. I don't know when. It was supposed to be Q1, but that's like in like 10 days. That's not gonna happen. But yeah, so I'm trying to like figure out how to like wrap up this game, Swords of Magic, and figure out how we want to like finish it and like what we want to do. So there's a lot of like little things that were meant to be finished, like that little dungeon thing I was just showing off there was supposed to be a whole long thing, and we're not going to do it now. There's a like a fighters guild over here that you're supposed to like sign up for and do fights, and I'm kind of tempted to just make this part. Like I think we could just build this. What I'm thinking about doing is maybe just like adding over here like a little like structure, like maybe like a little like house or something, and then we'll just have like a little entryway and like we'll just like black it out so when you look inside there you can't see anything, and then we'll just spawn an enemy like at the front of it or something, at the gate of it. Or we could just spawn new enemies like every day there, and you can come in and do a fight every day. The idea was that you could win tokens or tickets here by doing fights, and then take them to the Fighters Guild in Sleepy Haven, which is way over here and not loaded. You would take the tickets to Sleepy Haven, and you could buy special weapons and armor from them. I don't know if that's a good idea, since you're doing the fighting in Azura, and then you come here and get the stuff, so then like get the level difference is weird. So I don't know, that's probably not a good idea anymore, but I do want to do the Fighters Guild though. Even if it's, and maybe it's not even a guild, maybe it's just like this little like arena here, and this is like, it's all self-contained here. Maybe this guy just sells these things. Maybe he just sells armor and weapons, and maybe we like replace the food here for like some like higher quality food, and then we just sell them all for tickets. We just swap out like these things sitting here. Oh, not all of them, but some. Oh my god, why are these merged together? Okay, I don't know. I guess we can still make it work, kind of. Maybe I can go through and like delete the meshes manually. Anyway, but we could put like a table here or something to sell some special like unique weapons, and those weapons, and that's actually perfect too, because we need to make a bunch of Kickstarter weapons that we still haven't finished, and that would be perfect to like have some of those things for sale here and stuff. Amadeus Prime, kind of like a gladiator style armor. Yes, that's what I was thinking. Maybe I could get Soupy to make some new armor for this if he's interested in doing that. What can you do with the tickets though? Yeah, you would just buy weapons and armor. So it'd just be like special unique weapons and armor for this area. What else? What else do we have that's like not finished here? Oh, the lava cave. We finally finished up the boar area here, and now there's a big boy world boss called Rip Tusk that shows up here, and he's pretty cool. He should drop cooler things. I think he drops his tusk now, which is a trinket, I think. So at least he does that. This little mini dungeon here needs to be finished up too. So this has this section here, which opens up into this, and this is a forge, which I think is loaded right now, but I don't think it's supposed to be loaded. I think, where is this? Yeah, that's not supposed to be there. So you're supposed to rebuild this forge so he can make you moonstone weapons, or no, magma something weapons. I think he makes magma weapons. I don't know. You're supposed to be able to go through this other section here. Go through this door. This is supposed to be another dungeon. This dungeon it's already in here. Has a big elevator. Elevator drops you down. You go through this room, and then you have this gigantic, huge open lava pit. It's supposed to be a whole dungeon where you like go through here and fight a bunch of like flying magma monsters, and then you climb up through here. And you drop down, and there's like a little puzzle room or something in here. I don't know what that's supposed to be. And you go over here, and there's supposed to be like a big lava turtle thing that just like swims back and forth, and you have to ride on its back to go through here. And there's like imps or something throwing fireballs at you, and you have to dodge them or whatever. I don't know. And you get off here, and you go over the bridge, and jump through here, and you get here. And then here is supposed to be like an entrance that goes to like a big ember golem fight. And then you can go this way, and this is supposed to take you to another boss. That's supposed to be like a mini boss. And there's supposed to be another boss that's like a big boss. What about factions? Like the pirates could be contestants one day. That'd be cool. We could do that. As long as I don't have to build a new system. If I'm just spawning like a mob to fight every day by just talking to an NPC, that's totally fine. That's totally easy to do. There's also supposed to be a calendar system, which I kind of designed but haven't like implemented at all, and I don't know if it's gonna happen, honestly. I don't know. We'll see if that actually happens. We might have to do that actually. We might have to like make seasons and everything, because I don't know how else to handle players getting the seasonal events. This game has two different seasonal events. One is for Halloween and one is for Christmas. It's called Witch's Eve and then Frostfall. And during those events, you can get a whole bunch of like event tickets and stuff, and you unlock a bunch of unique loot and like armor and weapons and spells and food and recipes and all kinds of stuff. And we only do those during Halloween and Christmas, where we like actually update the game and we like change everything so like it's all snowy and everything, and there's new enemies and like all kinds of new stuff. There's a whole new zone for Christmas, so you can go to like through this portal and go to a new zone. And when we release this into 1.0, we kind of need to be able to make sure players can do that still without us having to manually update it every year, because it's not ideal. So I think the idea is we build a calendar system, and then time progresses, which it does already, and then eventually you'll get to the point where you can go to Frostfall, or do the Frostfall thing, or Witch's Eve and stuff. It's just going to be like, we'll have to like fade out the screen or something during that time and like pause the game and like pop up and say like a new season has begun or whatever, and then we'll like show Witch's Eve or Frostfall or whatever during that season. I don't know. Can I ask why you would choose to stay on 427? So it's 426, and the reason is because this project is really old. We started on like 416, 418, somewhere in there. I don't remember. And we've upgraded all the way to 426 as every update came out. And then when 5.0 came out, we decided, well, we're almost done with the game. Let's just finish up the last little bit we have, not update right now. So we didn't go to 427, and I don't remember why. I think we just decided there wasn't like enough reason to like update at the time. It just wasn't worth the effort, because there's a lot of moving parts in this project and there's a lot of bloat. And then when 5.0 came out, we were like, okay, we should move to 5, and we tried. And 5 has tighter restrictions on dependency chain length. So what's happening is we have a bunch of blueprints that reference other blueprints, that reference other blueprints, that reference other blueprints, that reference other blueprints, and that goes on like 30 or 40 times. And that's a really bad thing. And that's because we didn't really know what we were doing when we started this project. None of us had ever worked on like game of this scale before, and none of us had ever done anything like this really. And so we just did a lot of hard references and stuff that we shouldn't have done. It was a lot of no-nos. And so when we try to move to UE5, we can't package, you can barely run the game. There's a lot of errors because of those dependency chains, and it like does not like it at all. And so we can't really move to UE5 without like going back and refactoring and like fixing up a lot of those old blueprints. And a lot of that is just not worth the work. So the endless unfinished things, that feels familiar. Yeah, that's what I'm kind of doing today. Is I'm kind of just, it's been a while since I've worked on this because I'm working on Seeking Adventure, which is the new game, which is so much smaller. It's so much simpler. So yeah, and so since I haven't touched this in a while, I thought today would be a good day to kind of just dive in, look at what we have left to do, look at like what we can do, like what's reasonable, because I want to get this out. I want to like just get to 1.0 and call this finished and wrap it up. And so kind of what I'm thinking is I want to just get a list of things that like, this needs to be wrapped up, this needs to be finished, this needs to be done, whatever. And then make those like checklists, and then maybe we'll just do like, we finish like let's just do like the Fighters Guild, for example, and I'll just spend like a week working on this fighters thing, right? And we'll get that done. And then I'll just do an update and push it out, and you guys will get an update with the fighters thing done. Or maybe I'll just save them all. I don't know. Maybe we'll just save all of these things for one big update and just be like, guess what? We wrapped up Azura, it's done now. And then we do one big like Azura update, and then we go on and do the next thing or whatever. But the idea is like, I just want to get this wrapped up and get to 1.0, so I can move on to new projects guild free, because I have another idea for a big project that I want to start when Seeking Adventure is finished and out, and this is out. And there's no way I'm moving on to that project, because I'm going to need, that project's going to need like either a publisher, so we'll need funding, or we're going to need Kickstarter to like fund the development. And I don't plan on hiring a ton of people. I might look into bringing on like an AI programmer, and that's like all I would do, because I don't want to have to deal with like building combat and AI and stuff all by myself, because that's a lot of work, and this game would have a lot of combat in it. But everything else I'm confident I can handle, at least programming wise. And then art, I don't know yet. I know I can do the art, it's just I don't know how long it's gonna take, because it's a lot more complicated art than this. I've already been looking into like which, because I don't have access to ZBrush anymore. It's too much money. It's like 400 something a year or something. It's crazy. And then I could just buy it outright for like 900, but I don't have the money right now to do that. So you send publishers a demo of the game? Yeah, I would. Can you get an Epic grant? Yeah, I can probably do that. And that's what I would look into that too. I think that this next game, if we decide to do it, or when I decide to do it, I think we can get a grant. We've applied for a grant for a smaller game that we had a demo of that was kind of, it really needed to be redone, and we got denied. And I think it's just because the game wasn't substantial enough. I think that Epic's looking for bigger, like more epic projects, right? So that's kind of the plan. Blender all the way. Yeah, I'm actually tempted to try Blender for sculpting. I want to try a bunch of different sculpting programs. I use Maya for modeling, and even though it's kind of expensive, it's like $250, $300 a year for the indie license. But I've been using it since 2014, and I just love it. And every time I've tried Blender, I just cannot get the hang of it. I do not like the hotkeys. I just don't like Blender. I want to switch to Blender because one, it's free, and two, it has a lot of really cool features that I really love to use. Like the whole, like I know they're moving really, they're pushing really hard to get into like the almost like the Houdini territory where they have like dynamic meshes and stuff where you can like change like how long a staircase is and stuff and add more steps and do ladders and things like that where you like build a like dynamic meshes. And I think that's really cool, and I'd love to do that kind of stuff because it would just save a bunch of work if you got good at that. But at the same time, I don't know, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work learning Blender because it's such a, there's so much stuff. It's just so much. And I really like Maya, and it's so simple. And I don't like, unfortunately, I probably pay for like way more than I actually use in Maya. Like I'm pretty sure that I'm only using like 5% of what I pay for in Maya, unfortunately. If that. Anyway, what else? The Spider Cave desperately needs the boss of the end, which I've actually started on, but it's nowhere near done. And then we have, hold on, let's not go here yet. Let's keep going back here. So I think I know what to do with Under the Waterfall. That's easy. I'm kind of thinking that lava cave in there that we were just looking at, this one, I think this gets scrapped. Or we keep it, but then when you open up to here, I think we just put a big platform in the middle here, and we have a boss fight in here. And I think we just put the Ember Golem in here. I know it's not like, it's not going to be as epic as like this whole dungeon and everything, but like when we did this, we had a salamander, like a fire salamander. I think we called him Magmamander. I don't remember. That I modeled that looks really cool, and then Joe was going to animate. And at the time, we had Joe animating all the monsters, so I could just make all the monsters I wanted, and he was animating them. But we lost Joe. He went to a better place, and he's still alive, so don't worry. But he went to a different team that could pay him way better than we could. So we didn't have an animator anymore, and so we're stuck with a bunch of characters that weren't animated. And I can animate, but I'm very rusty, and I've been learning Cascador, and I really love it. And I'm planning on learning more of it and doing more animations, especially for the next project. But I'm pretty rusty, so I don't know if I want to dive in and animate those creatures that we already had, because I have to rig them and everything too, and I don't want to do that. And one of them is an imp, and I could probably maybe find some animations, repurpose that one, but I don't know. Probably maybe not. And maybe I could do the same thing with the salamander. I don't know. We could find like a lizard monster or something in the Epic marketplace. Fab. But anyway, I don't know if it's worth it, like doing all that effort. Like I do think people are really want to like unlock, like build the what's it called? People really do want to build the forge up here and make the magma weapons with the golem heart. Like I know players really want to do that. We're going back there. In here, they really want to do like complete this quest, build this thing, and get like magma weapons. And I agree, and I think we should do it. I just think we cut our losses with that whole dungeon, and we just make like one boss fight, and it's just gonna be the Ember Golem. And I'll just build some new like attacks for him. We'll just kind of like copy the Frost Golem guy, but make fire attacks. Maybe make some like mini golems that he can spawn or something, because like I want to add a little more dynamics to that boss fight. And that's it. I use UE5 to animate. It's much easier to Blender. Oh, really? I have not tried UE5 to animate yet, but I've heard good things. But I really like Cascador. I'm a big fan. I already paid for the perpetual license for it because I'm really into it. So I'll probably use that. But I will look into UE5. Mostly just because it's so nice when you get an animation in and you can just go tweak the animation really easy. So that's well worth it to have UE5 for that. So, okay, so I think let's get our notepad out here. Okay, so Errol and Magma Forge. Cut down scope of lava dungeon. We could, yeah, I think that the elevator is probably fine, and we could even like write some like lore about like why there's like a a dungeon under there or something. Like maybe it would just be a castle. I don't know, whatever. Why there's an elevator there, I don't know. There was supposed to be a pyromancer, like mage, like a fire mage, that is like trapped in like this like big crystal or whatever, that used to like reside, I guess, or like rule over Azura, which is the island here that we're on here. And at the time, the waterfall that's coming down from the top of Azura, coming up, this waterfall was lava because it was an active volcano. And so she like ruled over this, and she like got her power from the lava or whatever flowing from this. And then a bunch of she was pretty evil. She was a bad guy. And so a bunch of paladins came from the castle and smote her. They beat her, and then they locked her in this fire cavern down below. That's what's supposed to be going on down here. So you're supposed to go through this. Oh, my bad. Go through this door here, and it's supposed to be like a big chasm, and then there's her big crystal that she's locked inside of, and then like a big room for like a boss fight. And then you can like wake her up. I don't remember how, but you could wake her up doing something. And then that was the plan, is you'd fight her, and she would like fly around and shoot fireballs at you and shoot like pillars of fire up from the ground and stuff. And then flood the cavern with lava, and you had to jump up, like do a little platforming, and like she'd like flood it with lava, and you would jump up and get out of the way, and then the lava level would go back down, and then that would like use up too much for energy or whatever, and then she'd like fall down, and then you could attack her a few times, and then she'd fly around again and do her cycle again. That was the whole idea for her, and I'd love to do that, but it's gonna be a ton of work, and I just don't think I don't think I have the manpower to do it without like 2 months of work, you know. So I just don't think it's worth it. So I think we just cut this. I think we just make like a big bridge. Maybe we just leave this broken or whatever, and then just do like a big platform. Maybe we just take some of these, whatever, just make one big platform out of it, and just put the lava golem right in the middle of it, and then we just do a big boss fight there. And then that you get the heart. Get the heart. Rebuild the forge. Wait for a letter in the mail to say the forge. Hold on. Tell you the forge is done. Learn to craft magma weapons. That would be pretty badass. In fact, if we really wanted to, we could make the player wait and not be able to do this section until they get further in the game, so they have to come back to it to like kind of give them a reason to come back. I don't know what that would be yet, but maybe there's something else they can't learn yet until later. I hate to lock it behind like a crafting level, because that felt really bad in Windless Woods when you had to like be like level 30 cooking or whatever to do some of the quests there, and I don't like how that turned out. Dinner's ready. Catch you some other time. See you later. Be nice. Be nice. Have a good dinner. Enjoy. Layers animations. You can only animate the top part. That's cool too. Pretty awesome. Anyway, it would be nice if we had a way to like get players to go do something else first and then come back to this, but I don't know if it's worth it. I think my problem with it is I don't want to give players like these really badass magma weapons at level 10 or level 12 or whatever, and then they immediately go to the farmlands and get a sickle, or a pitchfork, and then they're like, oh well, this magma weapon is sucks compared to this stupid pitchfork, so I have to switch now. So I think that's where I'm gonna struggle with that. So maybe what we do is like, I don't know. Maybe we actually do have to build. Okay, let's I think that's one of the things that I would like to add, is like a solution for either letting players somehow like level up weapons so they can get stronger, which actually wouldn't be too hard now because we have a new system in place that like automatically like calculates their damage based on levels. But it would be nice to like either let them level up their weapons somehow, like maybe let you take them to like a master like craftsman or something, or a forge or something, and then they can like upgrade the weapon. So you can use early weapons again later in the game, or like make them more powerful or whatever. Okay, so I'm going to put that down as something that I do think the game needs before we can call 1.0. Because of things like this, and like the Fighters Guild and stuff, like you should be able to find cool weapons and then upgrade them so you can keep using them through the game if you really want to. Just to keep all the weapons like at a point where you can use them if you like. Just because we have a big like focus on cosmetics and like how you look in this game. Okay, Fighters Guild. Random daily fights, earn tickets. We could do like 1 or 2 fights a day, maybe 3 fights a day. I don't know. Earn tickets to buy unique weapons / armor at the smith there, and that's it. That's all it does. I don't need anything to do anything else. It'd be cool if it was more, but we don't need to do more. Goblin Dungeon. What the hell do we do with this? Kind of think we just open it up, make the boss fight, and maybe we add it. We kind of just like sprinkle. I don't know. Maybe we just turn this into a quest. I don't know. Damn it! The more like we're in here, and the more we talk about it, the more I just want to like overhaul the quests in Azura to do like a storyline quest. Waterfall Dungeon. Cut all the dungeon and make it a secret loot room instead. Puzzle to open. Or key found somewhere else on the island. Okay, is that all of Azura? Is that everything we need to do on Azura? Oh, we have this. No. Is Greta? This is Greta, right? Does Greta have dialogue now? Forget if I can check her dialogue by clicking her, if I have to go find the dialogue manually. You gotta find it manually. Okay. So we scrapped her. The only problem is that she still has a house down here. This is Greta's house, and it is locked up, and it's like looks kind of ransacked. You used to be able to get a key off the back window here, and then you could open up the door. And then there was like notes and like a whole. Oh man, I'm not touching that right now. There's a whole quest for like how like she was cursed and everything. You had to like bring her this artifact that you found in her house and like the whole thing. I think we're just gonna open it, get rid of all these papers and stuff, and just keep like a journal with some lore. That's it. What else? Roderick's fine, we'll just leave that alone. I think Ramshackle's done. I think the only thing is this house right here. It says under construction. Oh, maybe we'd make this the Fighters Guild. Maybe you come here to buy the stuff. I don't remember where this was supposed to be. I think a fisherman's hut or something. I think you were supposed to build like buy like new fishing supplies here. I don't think we need that anymore. I like that this is the Fighters Guild. We'll do that, and we can we'll just swap this flag out for the Fighters Guild flag, and we'll be set to go. Everything over here, I think, is done. I don't think there's any other empty buildings. I really wanted to add a feature where you could get on a boat at the dock here or something, and like it would like sail around and like take you on like a fishing tour. We don't need that. This area is all done. This area is done. Oh, we need this guy. he just sells hats now, but I guess he's fine. Just make some new hats for him, maybe. Yeah, he's fine. Who cares? This is a little weird up here because it's like, what is this doing up here, and why is this a thing? And I don't think there's like much we can do about this now. I think we just leave it alone. We could always just delete it, I guess. Like we just got rid of it. It wouldn't be a big deal. We'll just leave it. I think it's fine. All right. Farmlands. What things in Farmlands need done? Spider cave. Add boss. That's it. I wonder if we should actually like build the dungeon system and then just turn like the spider cave into a dungeon and do the goblin cave as a dungeon, because then we have a dungeon in each zone, and then we could even do I don't know if we can turn the Chilthorn Hollow into a dungeon or not. We didn't like set up the entrance for it. And we really don't have a dungeon in anywhere in Windless Woods then. I mean, there's space for one. Like we have this entrance right up here that's supposed to go to a swamp, but we could just scrap that idea and just make this into a dungeon. I don't know what the dungeon would be. We could make a dungeon here if we wanted to, just so there's one in each zone. Then there's not gonna be one in Delver's Pass, but Delver's Pass is supposed to be a pass anyway. I don't know if we... What else do we need to like? This is just a main entrance to go. I'm losing my voice. I've been talking too much. I always wondered whose house that was. Did you fix the pathing causing the guards at the camp walking into the campfire? No. The campfires are supposed to have well, that's not what to do. Let's look at it again. This camp right here. That's not. I'm used to this one. I'm not used to UE4 anymore. Not blocking. That's not what I want. Cancel. First of all, let's go here. That'll fix that. I came in too late. Glad to see you working on Swords Magic though. It is mostly I don't know if I would call it working on. I guess I just fixed that. But mostly all I'm doing today is just kind of running through and looking at all the stuff, all the loose ends, and trying to decide what we want to do to clean them all up. So I think we finished up everything we need to look at on Azura. I have a plan in place for everything on Azura to clean up those loose ends. Farmlands, there's a whole storyline that's supposed to be going on with the scarecrows that has just been kind of abandoned, and I feel really bad about that. So I would like to add that. We need guard quests. There's like a whole guard quest line, which I think we kind of need to wrap up. Even if you just like, okay, so you finish the guard quest line in Farmlands and they send you to Sleepy Haven, and I'm kind of wondering if we just like go to Sleepy Haven and they're just like, congratulations, you're now an honorary guard and you're given this thing or whatever, and maybe you're just given like a guard whistle or something, and when you whistle it, a guard will like spawn near you and then help you fight, and then it'll just, I don't know if it has like a cooldown or what. I don't know, because like I don't know what else to do. Like I think we need to wrap it up, and like maybe we just do a whole quest line in Sleepy Haven. Let's write this one down. Guard quest line. So option A, add a final quest chain in Sleepy Haven, which would be fun, and I would like to do that, especially since there can be lots of investigating and lots of different NPCs to talk to and stuff. Like there's a lot of potential in Sleepy Haven for a really cool quest line, so ideally that's the best option. B, become an like an official guard captain. In Sleepy Haven after Farmlands quests and get a special reward. So those are our two options for the guard quest line. I'm honestly kind of okay with either of them. I mean, obviously if we do the first one, we'll do all, if we do A, then we also will do B, like, because you'll just finish the quest line here and then the guard captain here will be like, I'm retiring, you can take my job, and then you become the guard captain, and that would be awesome. It would be kind of cool is if there was like a plot somewhere. I don't know where, but it'd be cool if there was like a plot somewhere where like they give you like a deed to it or something, or maybe like oh man, how cool would this be? How cool would it be if you like got a deed for becoming the guard captain for the entire like guard barracks here, and then like you could just live here. I don't know how it work. There should also be like, oh yes, there's like a whole boxing ring in here we should probably do. Hold on. Maybe we could incorporate that into the guard quest line. There's just like a quest in here to beat someone, to fight unboxing. I would love to get rid of this stupid thing. I don't think we can without like modifying the whole model, which is doable. Those dang scarecrows. A lot of mysteriously empty buildings in Sleepy Haven. Yeah. So some of them could just be turned into houses, because there's a lot of people living in Sleepy Haven that don't have houses. So we could, like, this one, do closed due to hauntings. One, okay, let's do that. Let's write this note. Haunted house in Sleepy Haven. Let's options. Option A is add ghost enemies, which we have. We've never used them, but we have ghost enemies to house and make it a quest. Option B, remove sign and just make it a house people live in. Option C, remove the building entirely. What would we do if we just got rid of the whole building entirely? Like this has like a tower. Like what is this? Like what was this supposed to be? It has like a whole tower here. We wanted to do a guild system a while back. This would be perfect for like a guild hall, but this is also empty, and this was also what I was thinking about turning into a guild hall. There's a lot of empty buildings up here that just don't do anything. Like this one's empty too, I think. This one's is gone vision, like. And then what about this one? Is this one also empty? Yeah. This one doesn't even have anything. What are these? So like there's one. Is this one empty? No, that's just a house. So there's one. This is the furniture store, right? Yeah. 2, 3, 4 empty buildings, all right next to each other. So Jana was actually talking about moving Dandy Decor into a different building. If we moved it into this big building, like a warehouse, then we could just like delete all of these and make another plot here. Or something. I mean, like it'd be kind of a shame to get rid of this because this is a pretty cool like, little bridge thing, but like, and also it's gonna feel a lot like this town's gonna feel a whole lot more empty. Oh, what if this is a bad idea? But what if we put the castle there? What if we delete all those? Or what if we deleted all 3 of these and we built this whole thing into just a big castle? This is where freaking Owen lives. It's just the keep. We have to change. I mean, I guarantee there's a bunch of dialogue we have to go change where it like talks about Sleepy Haven or Alaran City and stuff. We could just scrap all that. Like Penny talks about in Azura, we could just be like, oh, Sleepy Haven, not Alaran City. That's fine. That's an easy fix. She does talk about coffee though, so we might have to make a coffee shop. But we can have like a little coffee vendor that just shows up like sometimes because we already have a system for that too. Where like that's actually something I've been wanting to do for a long time now, where we just put like little vendor stalls here. Like we started it with an art fair, and we had a bunch of people like make art for the game, and then we ended up just selling them all on Dandy Decor, I think. But it would be cool to have like a bunch of little vendors up that like they do a bunch of little art, like knickknacks or whatever, and you can just buy their things and they just show up like randomly, right? And then we have like a noodle cart that we modeled and like have like noodles and everything, like food and everything we made for it that it's nowhere in the game. And that could show up some days. And then maybe there's some days where there's just like a rare potion vendor or something and he just sells these cool potions or something. Like we could do things like that. I don't like that it feels wrong. Wait, what? What, Soupy? You don't like that? It feels wrong. You don't like what? What feels wrong? These empty buildings? Oh, you don't like that turning this into the keep. So what I'm trying to do is I want to wrap up the storyline for Owen. And I would like oh man, I want to just spoil the whole like storyline just so you guys can like know where I was going with it and what I wanted to do with it and why it's probably never going to happen. But I've been holding this storyless secret for this game since the very beginning. Yeah, I know you get the reasoning. I don't know. I don't want to spoil this because like it's like the one big secret that I've never spoiled, and I really think it's a good story and it has a really cool twist, and I do feel like people would be like, oh my god, that ending was so satisfying if I could pull it off the way I'm envisioning it. And the problem is that I need to keep where Owen was supposed to like live. And I do, like, just look at it from here. Like, you have this little castle, right? Now, picture if it was just, like, this big. Here, let's do this. If you just had, maybe we do line instead, because I cannot draw straight lines. So you just have, like, maybe this thing, maybe this keep stays here. And then you have another one that's, like, up here. This is too big. Oh, like something like this, maybe. Maybe it lines. This is a bad idea. I knew that was gonna happen. That's why I would. Yeah. So imagine like this big, maybe. Where's your free hand? This is terrible. Try again. So we have like another. Oh my god! And I forgot to click the button. I just took a random screenshot. So you just have like a big keep up here, right? And then like maybe another tower or something over here. But that would look cool to have like a whole castle, right? And it wouldn't be that crazy, and it makes sense that it would be here. I don't hate it. I'm gonna talk to Jana about it. I don't hate it, and it would give us the ability to actually like finish the main storyline and make an actual ending. Because what I'm struggling with is the only other way we can do an ending, and we started out the story with Tooth, right? And Tooth is like a side quest, really. Like, it makes it sound like he's the big bad guy since Owen's missing, but really like the big bad guy is different. And Owen missing is actually the main storyline. But let's still load Bone Reach. Need to see how far along we actually are. Because most of this is done. Just like so much of this is done. I mean, this whole city can just get scrapped. We don't need this. You know? So like, as of now, the best possible outcome is like, so you go to Azura, you learn about Tooth, you come to Farmlands, nothing, you don't learn about Tooth. It's like there's nothing about Tooth here at all. It's like no one even cares. But you do run into some orc scouts over here, right? That are like here. Like, so you can tell there's something going on here. And I think the guard quests could have something about that too. We have to investigate the scouts, that'd be fine. But also, I think the scouts should drop a letter. Like their objectives or whatever, like what they're supposed to be doing. And then you should take that to the head of the guard in Sleepy Haven, and she should be like, oh damn, it looks like the orcs are trying to invade. This is gonna be bad. We need to get a letter to the castle. Now, Alarin City is supposed to be way over here. This is supposed to be Alarin City over here somewhere. And it's supposed to be basically Sleepy Haven, but like 4 times bigger, right? 5-6 times bigger. It's supposed to be a massive thing. And don't get me wrong, I would absolutely love to work on that. And we even reached out to Limesy and Jesse to see if they were interested in making, like, working with us to build the city, and they were. And I'm certain we could get them involved and we could start knocking out the city. But it's gonna be so much work. There's gonna be so many NPCs running around. And I already talked to Jan. I said, you know, for Alarin City, I think because we need so many NPCs running around, I think we're gonna cheat. And I think we're gonna build like a generic NPC that just gets randomized, and they just spawn and wander around all the time. And they'll just have like a random name and a random like look and everything. Because I don't know how else to do. Like, I don't know how else to do it. Starcat Tail Chaser, hello. What's up, Cass? Right? Ad break in 2 seconds. Sorry, guys. I like the guard quest to investigate the orcs too. Yes, I thought so. Yeah, a city 5 times as big as Sleepy Haven seems not reasonable. Agreed. It, like, when we had a team of 5 people, if we had the funding to keep that going, it would have been fine. There's very, very, very little chance we're gonna get the funding to hire enough people to do the kind of stuff that we originally wanted to do. So we need to find ways to cut cost, cut scope, and finish up the storyline. So there's a couple options. One, we just have a quest line that does like the orc thing over here, like we were just talking about. It doesn't have to be the guard quest line. It could just be you find a letter and you turn it in, whatever. And then you don't have to go to the castle. Maybe it's just like we need to investigate whatever. Or maybe bring it to Eben, right? Eben is like, so Eben is Owen's mage. He's like the king's mage, right? So he lives, luckily, in Delver's Pass. We're slowly just turning on everything here. We can turn off Azure right now. By the way, I don't want to hear anybody talking about how this makes literally no sense and how anyone gets in here, because it doesn't matter. But this is Eben's tower, and he lives in Delver's Pass. And then I guess he just teleports back and forth from the castle or whatever. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Maybe this is his vacation home, whatever. He lives here now. And so you're supposed to bring a letter to him. Well, to get to him, you have to go through Windless Woods. And guess what? Windless Woods is corrupted with a bunch of stuff, and the gate is closed. So the only way to get there is to basically finish or to help the people here cleanse the corruption, and then you can get the gate open and go to the Windless Woods or the Delver's Pass. So I'm kind of fine with that. That works, right? We can do that. I think that works really well. So Eben is then like, okay, great. There's a war going on or whatever. So, we need to try to stop this war. So he sends you to Bone Reach. And then we can do a whole zone here, like normal. But the whole goal here is to get into the orc camp or whatever and defeat Tooth. And that would be fine. Like, I think that could work. That could be the whole storyline. You defeat Tooth, the game is over, right? Now there's a whole nother layer that is supposed to happen that I would love to do. But to do that, we have to have a keep that you can go to talk to like Owen's advisor and like see the empty throne, etc., 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 right? And then you have to have a keep that you can go back to, the same keep you can go back to later when things have changed. And that's where like a final cutscene, whatever thing would happen, right? So if we put it in Sleepy Haven, yes, it does mean we'd have to probably change a bunch of dialogue. We would have to basically cut Alarin City entirely out of the lore entirely. It just couldn't exist. This would be the main city in all of Tyrwin. Which is fine, because really, like, if you zoom out and you think about this, like, there's a town here, over here, there's a town here, there's a town here, there's going to be a town here, maybe, and there's a little town here too. Wherever the white boxes are over there, there's towns. And there's a town here. So, like, we don't need... I mean, yeah, it would make sense to have a city over here, since we have towns, like, so close together everywhere. But this could just be the main city. And if this is the whole world, and we cut out the desert, and we cut out the north and stuff, and you can only go there during the winter, like, I think all that is fine. And, like, that could feel right. What if Alarin City gets pulled into the astral plane? Oh, you know what? We could do that. Because that, well... I don't know. We could and couldn't do that, I guess. I don't know. Iris Lake had a big mage city on it. So Iris Lake is over here. So Delver's Pass is supposed to lead into Iris Lake. Iris Lake is supposed to be basically like another Delver's Pass like zone, like the same kind of trees and everything, just a big like forest with a huge lake in the middle of it. I would love to make this zone because it's like that's my favorite type of like biome and everything in games is like big pine forests and everything. But it's probably not going to happen. But that's fine. But this would be like this is like Washington State. This is like Pacific Northwest of Alarin City basically, because you have like the big cliffside like yeah, whatever. Just do a giant hole in the ground and say Alarin is now floating up in the sky somewhere. I guess that could work. But the idea was that in the middle of Iris Lake there was a big mage city, right? Made by the elves, and then the humans came and invaded it, and they used all of their crystal shards, all the magic there, whatever. They sacrificed them or pulled the magic from them, whatever, to cast a big spell that would basically teleport their entire city and everyone in it to the astral plane, right? So it's like, woof, it's gone. bye bye. It's gone. It's whatever. And this was called the Shardlands. Or well, okay, so it actually went to a different plane called the Shardlands, but like it sort of just, we kind of just merged them together, and it's the same thing now. Like it's a location in the astral plane that they call the Shardlands. Anyway, but that was the main city. So we can't like really say that like the same thing happened to Alaran City, because like I don't know, it just doesn't quite work. Like I don't know, I think it'd be kind of lame. But we could just like scrap all of Alaran City. I don't know. I don't know. Typical humans. Yeah, it was humans and orcs that invaded. They were working together. And then the orcs and humans ended up not liking each other again. You've established the lore of the meteorites falling. The mages pulled it into the astral plane to save it. Oh, okay. That could work, I guess. Let me catch up. Purify the corrupted chicken. It goes to its hen house and lays an egg that lands on the lever that opens the gate. Perfect. I'm gathering that you are trying to wrap up the existing storylines within the already finished zones. Wizard Tower doesn't have to make sense because magic. Yes, thank you. And yes, that's ideally yes. Like Bone Reach is not a finished zone, but so much of it, like level design wise, is done and almost polished. I guess it needs a polish phase. And I'm kind of like at the point where the sections that are not finished, I'm kind of fine with just like sculpting them into the ocean and just calling them done. I don't really care at this point. But yeah, because I don't have the time or resources to build all the zones it needed. Like you're supposed to go to the, like for the main storyline, you're supposed to go to the desert and meet someone there that's important to the story. And there's a whole thing with them. And then you go out and do other things. You're supposed to go to the Shardlands and do these things, and then go to the Northest North and do these things. But like none of that really matters. You know, like all those things were sort of like, honestly, they were sort of like built into the story just to make it an epic journey. But we can do all that stuff within the zones within the bounds of the game we already have. And because I want to wrap this up in the next like 2 years, and that's working on this on the side, I don't have the resources or the time to like build out these whole big zones. Bone Reach is already like a huge daunting undertaking. I mean, like look how big this freaking zone is. And Wendy and I did, I think Wendy did probably like 80% of the zone, maybe like 60% of the zone, because I did a lot of the level design like structure of it. And then she blocked it all out with tons of work. She did a ton of work here. Yeah, she probably did 80% at least. Anyway, but she did a ton of this work here. And then like it's the same size as like all of Farmlands, right? But it's so much more densely packed with so much more stuff going on than Farmlands has. And it's definitely bigger than Azura. It's like twice the size of Azura almost. And then like look at Delver's Pass is like the last zone that I worked on that I did entirely myself. And this took me, I don't remember how long, but it took a while. I started it and then I kind of stopped working on it for a long time. Then I started again. Like, but when I actually buckled down, this took me like a few months to do. And that's very small. Like the majority of this area is just big mountain ranges that you can't even like really get to or do anything with. And that took me months. And now I have this entire freaking like planet sized zone to do. You know, this is going to be like, I mean, like the thing about this zone that is going to make this easier is that a lot of it is intended to be a combat. Whereas Delver's Pass, there's not a lot of combat, and most of it's just like exploration, and it's just like a pass-through zone to get to other zones, which isn't going to happen now. But that's okay. And it's also going to be kind of nice because you go from this heavy combat, like really serious, like Windless Woods zone where there's like all this corruption happening, and then you go to Delver's Pass where it's kind of like more mellow, and it's like, yeah, you're helping people, and there's like a fire spirit on the loose, whatever, and like crazy stuff happening, but it's nothing like insane. And then you end up in, we're skipping that song. But then you end up in Bone Reach, which is like gonna be way more focused on combat. Like there's like 2 camps, right? There's supposed to be a whole city of Tinkerers here, and we might still do that. I don't know. We'll see. I don't think so though. But there's gonna be like 1 camp here, which we can put like 10 NPCs in, right? Which is not that big of a deal. Then there's a camp up here, maybe 2 NPCs here. You know, nothing crazy. Maybe 3. And then there's most of the NPCs in this area are going to be enemies, right? And most of these camps actually don't even need NPCs. They can just be enemy camps if we wanted them to be. Lots of places for combat though. And this is supposed to be a whole town. This is like a ranch. And this is fine. Like we can put a couple NPCs here in this ranch. And this doesn't need to be like a full-on town either. So that's fine. But all this needs like buildings. It needs a bunch of stuff. I don't know. I'm kind of excited to work on it though. I don't want to scrap this. You know, like I don't want to launch 1.0 without it. I think it'd be fine as like a DLC, but I honestly think when we hit 1.0, I'm probably not going to work on the game again unless it turns around and starts like getting really like a lot of attention. If you put work into that big city, it'll bring in more players. You say that, but we put a lot of work into this game, and since launch, we have done nothing but our players have cut in half like every month. I know it sounds like that. I know it does. I know it seems like build it and they will come, right? It just doesn't work like that. We've been doing that since the start. So I hired like a team of 5 people and we built the game like 3 times faster. And every single update, it was like, this is going to be the update that finally brings in a ton of players and makes the game a ton of money. And I can finally like stop paying everyone out of my own pocket and actually pay them with revenue from the game. And that never happened. We did that for like a year and a half, 2 years, paying like 3 or 4 people. And eventually we just ran out of money. And every single update we did was like our last hurrah. And then we'd be like, okay, we can do one more update. Let's do one more major update. And maybe that won't work. And then we did Win This Woods. And it still didn't work. It still did not, like, we didn't need that whole zone, the huge storyline, an epic boss battle at the end of it, whole long thing. And it's like a whole new like race of creatures to help, and a whole village you could like build and like put back together, and a ton of quests and like new mounts and tons of weapons and armor, not armor, but like tons of weapons and like spells and all kinds of stuff. We did so much work, and then we launched it, and it made about as much money as any other update made. Like it wasn't enough money to sustain it. So yeah, it sounds like if I go and build a whole city and build all these new zones and everything, that every zone is going to be obviously make the game tons of money, but it doesn't. It just doesn't work that way. Like even when we did Delver's Pass, like that was the first zone, and it was the first time me and Jan actually made money on the game, and we're actually like able to put that into our savings, which is what's coasting us right now. But it wasn't enough money to like justify doing another zone. Like that's why we're making Seeking Adventure now, because we need to start making money. That's why I'm doing a contract job on the side. I'm working for Ryuthamus. And now Jana literally started a new job today that she's working and as part-time. So we both now have side jobs we're working on, because Swords Magic doesn't pay the bills anymore. Even when we're doing consistent updates every month or every other month for major updates, it still wasn't enough. And even putting the game on sale like every month with the updates and doing a huge marketing push, like releasing a devlog, releasing press release, sending keys out to like 20 or 30 like streamers and YouTubers every time. We even paid for a bunch of marketing pushes on Keymailer. We actually have not paid for ads in a long time, so maybe we could run some ads. Not right now, but like when we do our next push, when we do our 1.0, we will run some ads. But like we've done all this stuff. We put in a ton of effort. And yes, there's obviously a million things we could have done better, but the game is just done. Like it's been out for 4 years. Like it's old news now. And that's just how games work. You can do a game in early access, that's fine, but you better have like all of your ducks in a row, and you better be ready to like get it into early access, get it finished, and get it out of early access within like a year or two. And you better have like consistent marketing through the whole thing. And then when you hit 1.0, you better have a huge marketing push ready to go. And even then, 1.0 is not what it's cracked up to be. Like even when we hit 1.0, it's not like the game's gonna sell like it's brand new again. It'll sell like it's new, but like not like it. No, it won't sell like it's new. It'll sell like it's another big update. That's what'll happen. So, sorry, I didn't mean to go on a tangent. I'm not trying to be negative. I'm super not negative about the game right now. Like I'm very happy with where it's at right now. Obviously I wish there was a lot more to do or a lot more done and whatever, but I'm sad at the idea the other zones will never get completed. I understand the lack of resources and manpower, but it's still sad. I agree. I 1,000,000% agree with you. Like imagine you as someone who's like followed the game and has like really liked it and like excited about exploring it. And now imagine being the person who built it all, who designed it all, who created it all, who has been dreaming about it for, I don't know, 15 years probably before he was, 10 years before he was able to actually like bring it to life. And now it's like alive, but I can't do what it's like having a child, but then like knowing that they don't get to like go to college or like experience the rest of their life. I mean, like, you know, I actually have children, so it's nothing like that, but you know what I mean? Like, it's like, I know how you feel. Like I know on a probably a deeper level than you understand, that I definitely still would love to like add all this stuff to the game. But, you know, I have other ideas and other projects and other things I want to bring to life, and I don't want to spend a quarter of my life working on this. I've already been working on this for 7 years. And if I really wanted to bring this to life to like the level that I envisioned it originally, it's going to take at least another 7 years. Because in 7 years, we were able to do, well, okay, so let's rewind, because that's not actually true. We started working on this version of the game, where we rebuilt the whole landscape and the terrain and everything, and kept this version in 2019. Moz and I think started it in early 2019. And we worked on it for about a year, and then we did Kickstarter in April 2020, and then we launched the game in September 2020. So we worked on it for about a year, and then another 4 years. So it's 5 years. It took us 5 years to develop this island, the farmlands, and Windless Woods, and then most of the level design for Bone Reach. And that's literally all we've done in 5 years. So now imagine me having to go, and I did Delver's Pass for a bit, like, plus a bunch of other like quality of life updates and things like that we desperately needed. And there's also a ton of quality of life stuff and like skill trees and dungeons and things like that, that are like not even level design related, not even like content related. They're just like things that the game should have. But like, so this took me like a year plus all the quality of life stuff. So now imagine me solo. I don't have a level designer on the team anymore. I don't have an AI programmer anymore. I don't have another programmer who can handle all the coding stuff and do quests and or build puzzles and things like that while I'm doing level design or whatever. So it's just me solo. I have to do all of it. Now I have to do all of this, which is probably going to take me 3 to 6 months to just fill this out with monsters and loot and resources and enemies and quests, and like that's 3 to 6 months at least, probably for that. And then I have a whole other desert to do, a whole Blackrook Vale level or zone to do, which is smaller, but it's still a whole zone. The mushroom level to do, Iris Lake to do, Mistaken Isles to do. Like that's going to be a whole bunch of work. And then we have all of Northwest North, and we have all of the Everwoods, and then Alarin City, which is going to be like a freaking like 2-year project just by itself. Like Alarin City is the vision for that city is like literally bigger than building like Stardew Valley, right? like the scope of that city is like a whole game by itself or bigger, right? Like all the NPCs in it running around, living their lives, doing their things. It's just so much work. The idea for Alarin City since the beginning was you were supposed to be able to like spawn there. Like you could choose if you wanted to start the game in Castaway Rock or on Castaway Rock and go through the whole world, or spawn in Alarin City and live in the city. That was the idea. So that means you have to have enough content in that city that you can play basically a life sim. Like obviously that's not going to happen now. Like we're not building a life sim. There's just so much. Wrapping up the story, just finishing the game and adding more through DLCs is also an option if you like to work on this game and need more money. Yeah. Meteors hit Alarin City, destroying it. Yeah, we could do that, but here's the thing. That means I have to go back through all the dialogue that talks about Alarin City, and not just remove Alarin City and switch it for Sleepy Haven, but also do a condition in that dialogue and make sure that they don't talk about it anymore, or if they do talk about it, they now talk about it in the past tense and about how it sucks that it's gone now. And that's even more work than just changing it to Sleepy Haven. I think Alarin City is not required. I think Alarin City is not required. You can do everything you want without all the extra work. Agreed. there's still an option for the other zones in the future. That would be awesome. There is. Like, I would love to do, like, I was already thinking the Bone Reach could be a DLC, because I don't think we need it to complete the storyline. But the more I think about it, like, I really think a 1.0 launch needs a final, like, end game zone. And Bone Reach was meant to be, like, really challenging. Like, that's supposed to be like, you better have figured out how food works. You better have figured out how potions work. You better have figured out, like, which trinkets you need to use. Like, you gotta, like, that's gonna be, like, you're gonna be struggling there if you're not. And you better have, like, all your gear, all your levels maxed out that you want. Sorry, my voice is going out because I'm talking a lot and not drinking enough. It's been 84 years, me. Yeah. So yeah, I think if we're gonna do a final zone, it has to be Bone Reach, and it's already mostly done, right? Like, as far as level design goes, I just have to add content to it, and I think that's fine. I don't think that's a big deal. I mean, it's a big deal. It'll take months, several months, and that's, again, if we go full time on this. And we're still working on Seeking Adventure. I need to finish that, and I've taken quite a break on that. I haven't really touched it, other than, like, adding a little bit of implementing a little bit of the feedback stuff that we got from the demo. But yeah, so we're gonna have to finish our Seeking Adventure. Also, there's a glimmer of hope that Seeking Adventure might make more money than I thought it would, because a publisher reached out yesterday, and I don't want to say too much because I literally just wrote an email back saying, yeah, I'd like to talk about it. That's all I know so far. So it could be nothing. It could just be they could be feeling out to see, whatever. But I will say that there's one game they published. Actually, they published a bunch of games, like 30 something. So they're a decent sized publisher. They do publish. They're a big fan of, like, global publishing. So Seeking Adventure will launch in multiple countries, which was already the plan for Seeking Adventure, which is why we're doing no dialogue and literally no text in the game anywhere. So the Steam page is the only thing that needs to be translated, which I'm sure is going to be like a piece of cake compared to everything else. So that'll be nice. But one of the games that they published, I don't want to say which game it is yet because I don't want to reveal which publisher it is in case this just goes down the drain or whatever. But that game has like 89,000 reviews on Steam and made like $21 million or something like that. Gross. Now, when you break it down, it's actually like $6 million when you take out, like, Steam's cut and sales tax and, like, or tax and VAT and all that stuff, and refunds and sales and all that stuff, discounts and everything. So it's only like $6 million, but still. And I'm not saying Seeking Adventure is going to do that, because it's not, because it's a totally different type of game, and this game does not have this sort of longevity. But I'm just saying that they know what they're doing because they got a lot of players on that game. So maybe there's a chance that there's, some money in Seeking Adventure, and then I can go, sit back and stretch and finish Swords of Magic and be happy with it. Not to the level that we originally had. I'm fairly confident that I'm not doing the desert. We're not doing Blackrock Vale. Like, we're gonna have to cut all that stuff out, basically, which is fine. And then maybe DLC. We'll keep it where it is, so it could be DLC one day, and that's it. Add more content in the existing areas. Could you add procedurally generated dungeons? They could be themed on the other zones. Yes and no. Procedurally generated dungeons opens a whole can of worms, which we've already explored a little bit. One, I don't like procedural content very much in games because it gets very repetitive very fast, and then the walls start to the charade, the facade starts to break down very quickly, unless you do a ton of work. And in which is, if I do a ton of work on it to make it like super like dynamic, so it's always changing and it looks totally new each time, at that point, the amount of work it would take to do that, I may as well just handcraft the dungeon, because it's easier and faster that way. And then it's handcrafted. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I could probably handcraft 3 dungeons in the time it would take to like do that amount of work to make it that procedural. Procedural dungeons means I have to find a place to put the procedural dungeon. I have to find a lore reason that dungeon changes. I have to build a whole dungeon system. It's not worth it. I'm not worried about adding more content to the game. Their players already have hundreds of hours in the game. Adding a new zone is going to add another 100 hours to the game. Like, it's just, I'm not worried about that. I don't think this game is lacking content. If anything, this game has way too much content and it's not wrapped up yet. That's the big problem. There's no finish line, right? Players want to finish it. They want to finish the game. And right now, because it's an early access, it's unfinished. A lot of players are not buying it because they're like, this game's not going to get finished. And they're probably right. It's not going to get finished to the point that I want it to be finished. So adding more content is not what I want to do. Wrapping up the content we already have is what I want to do. Alarian City could be a dungeon maze that's procedurally generated. Yeah, so I have considered that because, and I do think a final dungeon with a boss at the end would be awesome. And I think that'll happen if I do the storyline the way I want. But I don't want to do Alarian City as a dungeon, but we could. And like I was, oh, so you probably missed this actually, Cass. But this area right here, this big empty bowl right here, is supposed to be Blackrook Vale, which is like a haunted forest kind of thing with a bunch of ghost monsters and stuff, which I would love to add. But I was considering turning that into Alarian City and then making it very linear so you can't like go explore the whole city, which is actually how the original Alarian City was, which is kind of funny. It was like one strip of the city you could see, and then you see a bunch of buildings and stuff from the outside that you couldn't reach. The problem with that now is that we have lots of different movement mechanics in the game that would allow you to easily get out of that and break the facade, right? Like you'd be able to see that those are fake buildings, whatever, floating in the distance. But we could maybe do it. We could probably pull it off, maybe. As long as we don't ever introduce flying mounts, then we'd probably be fine. But then what I was thinking is make that a city. So, okay, so I'm just going to spoil a little bit of this, okay? So there's Alarian City. You go to the city, you meet with the advisor. He's like, yeah, I don't know what to tell you. Go to this place, talk to this guy. No one knows where Owen is, but we need to get him back if we're going to prevent the orcs from invading, right? You go out and you do stuff. Then you come back to the city, and something has happened to Alarian City, and it is now hostile. And you fight your way through it, right? And you fight a final boss. That's all I'm saying. So, I need a castle so you can fight a final boss in. And if that castle lives here in Sleepy Haven and it's big enough to put a boss fight in, then that's fantastic. It doesn't matter. We can do that. If we have to do it here, that's fine too. But I just feel like if we're going to put an Alarian City somewhere in the game, players are going to expect a full city with tons of vendors, tons of places to like buy houses or buy like apartments or whatever you want to call it, whatever, to live in. Tons of like stores and shops and stuff that you can, buy and decorate your houses with. I know what players are expecting because it's exactly what I want it to have, right? And so I don't know if I want to do that. I don't know if we have the resources to do that. You think 1.0 launch and they'll come? I think 1.0 launch will be a bigger update, or I think if we do 1.0 with a huge update and we do it, the biggest marketing push we've ever had. Obviously, doing 1.0 is a big deal because it means the game is finally finished. And I think there's a lot of people like... Sorry, I just lost the name. Splattercat, I think we'll play at 1.0 finally. We've been begging him to play it for years and he hasn't yet. But there's another one, not Retromation, the other one. I don't remember his name. Anyway, one of the other indie game YouTubers played it and then said they couldn't wait for a 1.0 because they're going to do a series on it. But it's been years now and it's still not in 1.0. So I do think when we finally hit 1.0 and they see it, they'll be like, oh, that game finally finished. I wonder what's changed in the last 3 years. Let's go play it. And since they literally didn't even get off Azura Island, they're going to be in for a huge surprise when they see how massive the world is, right? Especially if we have Bone Reach, then, maybe another zone. Who knows what the 1.0 is going to look like right now. I think players are hesitant to get into an obviously unfinished game where they're waiting for the finished game. I agree. We have 40,000 wish lists. And I like the idea that half those wish lists actually come in and buy the game on sale at 1.0 finally, right? I do. I'm just not holding my breath. And I don't think, and my point earlier was saying, put more work into a big city, it'll bring in more players. Yeah, obviously the more work there's done in the game, the more players we're gonna have. But it's not like if I spend 6 months of full on working on this, finishing Bone Reach, and we add in the keep into Sleepy Haven instead of doing, and we scrap Alaran City, and we wrap up the whole storyline and do everything like we're supposed to do, versus spending that same amount of time building a whole new city and not finishing up the storyline. We're gonna see like 10% of the profit. You know what I mean? Like 10% of like the gains on that. Like I don't think building a whole new zone and then being like we're one step closer to 1.0 is the call. It's not the play if we're trying to hit 1.0. If we hit 1.0, yes, we'll see like that update's gonna be a lot bigger, but it's not gonna be, it's not gonna be like a whole new launch. I don't know. Oh my god, I love this game. Hi Rose Ramble. Procedurally generated zone dungeons could be less work but give never-ending content. I think the game already has never-ending content. Players are building their houses like crazy. I mean, yeah, I think you might eventually get bored of it, but I think you'll also eventually get bored of procedural dungeons too, because you're going to get all the loot from them eventually and you'll be done. What if the Desert Plus are future paid expansions? Yes, that's basically the plan right now. I would love to make the desert. I would absolutely love to make Iris Lake. I would love to make the Little Mushroom area. I'm super pumped to make the Blackrook Vale, like, and Northest North. I think that would be so much fun to work on those. And I would kill to make those things, right? Like, I love working on this game. But the game is so huge and performance is already right on the edge of like not being good enough, right? We're already like teetering past no one be able to get 60 frames per second now. We're now at the point where it's like, well, as long as we can hit our target 30 frames per second, I'm happy. And there's one silver lining here, that because this game has taken so long, people are now getting like you know, 4K cards and the 4K series cards. And so by the time this game actually launches, the performance won't be a problem because people are going to have hardware that's so much beyond what this game needed. So maybe it'll be fine. But developing it takes a lot of time because it takes a lot of time to like build paths, and it takes a lot of time to hit play and test things. So like, yeah, I have to build in like separate levels and stuff. It's a huge pain to develop in, and there's only one of me, and it's a ton of work. So I'm a little worried that having too much content in the game without proper optimization and without like actual like AAA quality optimization, we're not going to be able to have all these zones in the game. So part of me is like, if we do DLC for like a desert or something, it should be a separate map entirely. Like you get on a flying ship or an airship or something and it takes you to the desert, and then it's a totally different zone. So that way I don't have to have all of Alaran or all of Tyrone loaded in when you're in the desert. And then there could be another DLC for like Iris Lake or Northest North, whatever, and you get on a ship and go do that thing, whatever. And that way it's like totally separate. I don't have to worry about the performance issues as much. Want to go in on some lotto tickets? So my brother was talking about buying a lotto tickets and winning lottery the other day. And so I looked up because I was like, maybe you should just, you know, because a while back he was interested in making games, and I've been trying to get him to actually buckle down and do that, because I think making games is cool, and I think he'd like it if he actually like learned the tools properly and actually got to the point where he could make what he wanted. But the thing is, like, I asked of like, based on how many games have launched and how like much money those games have made, etc., etc. I said, what are the chances of releasing a game and making $1 million on that game versus the chances of buying a lottery ticket and winning $1 million in that? And the lottery ticket is like 0.00034% chance or something. I think there might have been another zero in there. I think there might have been 4 zeros. It's a very small chance, right, for the lottery ticket. Of course, if you buy a second lottery ticket, you double those chances, you know, or approximately double, I guess. And so you could buy like 500 of them, sure, but that's a pretty big gamble. Spend $500 hoping that you still win, and your chances are still going to be like far less than like 1%, probably less than 0.1%. But then the indie game was like a 0.34% chance, like right away. And I was like, it's way better to just make a video game. I mean, of course, buying a lottery ticket, it's really easy. You spend $1, you buy a lottery ticket. Or you spend $500, buy 500 of them. And like making a game could take you 6 months, right? But I feel like most of the games that go viral and make millions of dollars, took someone like 3 weeks to make, you know, to be honest. Anyway, SNM will be my debut VTube stream list. Really? That'll be fun. I will test for you forever, so we'll meet no matter what game you, we are kindred fans for life. That's awesome. Appreciate that, Cass. I haven't felt like one needs to start over in years. Early on, when skills were being tweaked, skills resets happened. I'm so confused, Catastrophe. Can you explain that again? I wish I could start it again. I enjoyed this. I enjoyed it that much. Really? Did you? I assume you got through the whole game. That was a reply to a YouTube comment? Oh, my bad. Sorry, I missed sheep. I see a lot of reviews on the game about when the updates come in, they have to start all over again. What? Is there a way you can make it where you don't have to start over again? That's literally never happened. Okay, so there was one time where I personally changed the name of a variable in the code, and it broke people's save files. So not their save files, it broke their skills. That's it, just their skill levels. So at the time you could level from, what was it, to 20? I think 1 to 20. Maybe at the time it was 1 to 100. Did we ever go to 100? Maybe it was just 20. I don't know. It was like, I think it was like 1 to 20, and a lot of people had level 20s. And I broke that, so it reset everyone to 0. So then I immediately went back in and renamed it to what it was, and I pushed the update again, back to, or updated again to fix it. But the problem was that everyone who logged in, which was probably like a couple hundred people, logged in, it updated their save, and it saved the new skills at level 0. So when I updated it back to what it was again, it just wiped out whatever the progress they made. And it was like a whole day till I got that update out, because we didn't know what broke till we finally fixed it. So for a whole day, people played on new characters, on new levels. Essentially, they had all their loot still, they had all their gear, they had all their houses, they had all their progress in the world, they had all their quest progress. Everything was there. It's just they lost their levels, which was just experience gained by doing combat and crafting and cooking and stuff like that. And then when I reset it, they lost all their progress they got in that one day again. So I reset their skills twice. That's the only time any progress has ever been reset in the game. The thing that people are complaining about in the comments on Steam, and it's been like 2 people by the way, is because sometimes I'll go in and I'll update an old quest because the game's in early access, and I'll change a quest and say, this quest really needs a better like reward or something, or this quest didn't get the reward it needed to when we launched it, but now I've added the reward to it. And the players who have already done that quest they can't do the quest again and get that reward again. So they have to make a new character to play through that one quest, and then they can drop the reward in their chest in their house, whatever, and their main character can get the reward. That's what people are upset about. And there's nothing I can do about that. I can't, if I could spend several hours making sure that every player who's done the quest before automatically gets that reward, but it's a lot of work doing that kind of stuff. So never mind, I missed the part where they said an update compels them to restart. So every update, like there's only, I rarely do that. Like we rarely go back and add new things to quests like that. It happens like maybe like to one quest every other update, if that. And the thing that people don't understand is that when I'm building this game, I'm building it for the new player perspective. So if I'm building everything I can, so if you start the game the day after the update comes, or the day the update comes out, everything feels fantastic for you. I am not so super concerned about making sure that every update feels good for people who have already bought the game and already played the hell out of it. And maybe this is just me being a little bit capitalist here, and I'm sorry, but like those people have already spent money on the game and they're not going to spend any more money on the game. So the only thing they can do is leave a negative review, but I've already got their money. And I know that sounds terrible, but you have to look at it like that sometimes, right? Like I can't build the game for people who are no longer paying me to play the game. And I think that's a bad way to go about it anyway. If I'm only building the game for the top 1% of players who've already played and invested hundreds of hours in the game, like that's a terrible way to go about it for business reasons and also just design reasons, because it's like World of Warcraft, right? Like in World of Warcraft, a new player has a pretty bad experience, or used to have. Maybe it's not so bad anymore. I don't know. I haven't played in a long time. But I know a big complaint is that the first like 4 to like 12 or 20 or 30 hours of the game, however long it takes you to get to cap level, is a pretty bad experience now compared to what it was when the game launched. Because when a game launched, they designed the entire game around that experience of leveling from 1 to 60 and then doing end game content. And now the entire game is designed around the end game content for those players who are already playing, who are paying monthly. They're paying every month, and they're buying extra like cosmetics and stuff like that. They're making money off of those players, so they're catering to them. But I can't do that because I don't have a cash shop. I don't have a monthly subscription. So the players who've already paid the money and have already gone through all the content, if I only cater to them and I build my content only so the end game players have more fun, and I only do things that they can do, then like I lose all these players who are trying to get a better experience when they actually buy the game outright. I don't know. Sorry, I'm probably rambling way too much on this, and you probably understand what I'm trying to say. And I'm not at all trying to be greedy here. I'm just trying to explain, like, from a developer standpoint, I want to build the game from that feels the best from level 1 to level 30 or level 50 or whatever it's going to be. Not that feels the best from level 35 to level 40, right? The money, let me start back. That was a reply to a YouTube comment. I did make a new character to fully experience the intro tutorial area. That was a choice I made. Yeah, okay, so yeah, and that's part of it, right? So I did, there were times like that. But like, I don't, like, if you're, unless, other than like the experience of like playing the game and like seeing those new zones and trying out the new quests and stuff like that, I think if you had a level 30 character or whatever, and you had already everything else in the game, and then I released the new tutorial update, I don't think you're missing much if you're worried about like power creep, right? Or if you're worried about like the power fantasy or whatever. Like you don't have to go back and do the tutorial again because you're missing stuff that you can't get now. Like, right, there was like one trinket in the tutorial and a new weapon or two, and that was like it, right? Maybe like 3 or 4 weapons actually, now that I think about it. I feel like the staff, I think. Yeah, I don't think the staff was new actually. That's it, right? But like, and it takes you like 20 minutes to start a new character, get that stuff, drop it in your house so you can have for your main character too. So I just don't think it was that big of a deal. But if you wanted to experience it, then great, make a new character. Like, I'm fine with that. The skill tree system is going to motivate players to make more characters too, because you can't, you can technically reset your skills. Maybe I shouldn't have put the Sims music on here because it's so distracting. You can make new characters and you can reset your skill tree so you can just try new builds, and that's fine. But you don't want to, and you can only put so many points in your skill tree. So if you're playing a warrior, rogue, for example, you can max out one of your trees and then put like half your points in the next tree, or you can spread out all your points around all trees if you want to, but you're not going to get you're not going to like max any out really. So like ideally you have multiple characters, one that's like a mage and one that's like a warrior or whatever, maybe one that's like a ranger or something, right? Or a hunter or whatever. Because that's ideally the best way to do it, unless you just max out all the levels and then you just swap your skills whenever you want to, which is fine, I guess. But it's a role-playing game, and I want people to play in a role. I don't want people to be like, that's the thing about like Skyrim that drove me nuts, is everyone I knew just played like, oh, I'm level, I don't know what the max level is, let's just say 100, level 100, you know, like marksman, and I'm 100 mage and 100 warrior and 100 this. So they're just like a god, and it's just like, well, it's lame. Like, you're playing a role, like pick a role, pick a lane, and then stick with it. If you want to be a rogue, then be a rogue. Roleplay as a rogue. Level up your rogue skills. Get really good at as being a rogue, and understand that there's some situations where being a rogue kind of sucks. Like, it was hard to be a thief in Skyrim when suddenly dragons started attacking. So I played through once as like a warrior, is like a sword and shield or whatever. Actually, I think I dual axes because that was what was on the cover or whatever. So that's what I wanted to play first. And then I played a new character, made a brand new character, and I played a rogue. And I knew that once I did a certain quest, dragons would start attacking. So I just never did that quest, and I ran off and did all kinds of other things as a rogue, as a thief, and never had to deal with dragons the whole game. I spent like 100 hours on that run, and I spent like 15 hours on the first run finishing the whole game. And I had way more fun on the second run when I only did one thing. So I don't know. That's my take on like how RPG should be played. So this game was never really intended that you could just max out everything, but you can do that because there was no reason not to, because it was casual. But when the skill trees come out, there is going to be a limitation. Like you're going to like limit if the skill trees ever even come out. Moving on. Could you not make a thing that sets every character's quest status on a quest incomplete? Just a question might be easier than complaints for their access. Honestly, the amount of people who complain about that are very, very, very few and between. And the one I already know the one person that you're talking about who complained about it. And I think I even responded to that thing, and I was like, I don't know why you feel like you have to restart every update, because we don't do that. So I don't know what you're talking about. It's so few, I don't think it's that big of a deal. But also, our quest system is very poorly designed, and it has a lot of moving parts. And it's not just like, have you finished this quest or not? It's not like a true or false thing. It's like, which part of the quest are you on? You might be on the completed part, which means you finished with the quest. But the problem with that is that there's a lot of things that are involved. So like, let's just say, here, let's use the Corruption Part 3 quest, for example. So let's say you're on this quest. You have to go get this mask. That might be Part 2. But anyway, you go over here and you get this mask from this thing that's not loaded in right here. And you get a mask and you go back and you talk to this lady here. Well, the problem is that if you have the mask, you can talk to her and complete the quest, right? So we had to set up a thing where it was like, well, we can't just make it so if you have the mask, because then players could just hand the mask to someone else and they never have to go actually get the mask because it's an item. So we also had to make it so you had to go to the location. So when you get to the location, it triggers a thing that says, okay, I've triggered this thing. Now I can go turn it in. So you have to do multiple things. And then she has a thing where you like talk to her, or like there could be other places too where you talk to an NPC and it triggers like a thing or gives you like a keyword or whatever, or an event. We call them event tags. Where you get an event, and then if you talk to someone else, it checks to see if you have a certain event before you can complete the quest. Or it might check those things even unquest related, right? Like it might just be like, if you have this event, I'll talk to you about this certain thing. And that like gives us a lot of power and the ability to do all kinds of cool stuff. So that's how you can do things like, if you talk to an NPC and you happen to have a certain item, or if you talk to someone else, you'll get a different response. And that's why there's a lot of cool secrets in the game, because there's a lot of different combinations of things you can do like that. So the problem is, it's not as simple as just saying, oh, well, we've changed this quest, so now all players no longer have this quest complete, so they can do it again. Because one, what if this is a quest where it leads to another quest, and leads to another quest, and leads to another quest? Because now they've reset the entire quest chain, and it might break if I just reset that one quest back. And if I reset that one quest back and they're in the middle of the quest chain later on, I might be checking to see if they completed that quest and to make sure you can go to the next portion of the quest, or if you get a certain dialogue. And if it breaks, or if you don't have that quest done, but you have the one next to it done, that might be a problem, right? Or there might be situations where, like, I've reset the quest, but I haven't reset the fact that you've talked to Joe over here. So when you go take the quest again, it'll already think you talked to Joe, even though you haven't. So you talk to Joe and he's like, haven't already given you the thing you needed? Buzz off or whatever. And now you can't complete the quest again. There's just so many like intricate moving parts in this project that it's really difficult to do that. Another complaint we have, a big complaint, is that players cannot do quests together. And that's the same reason there. Because we tried really hard to make quests like be shareable or whatever. And it was already too late the way we'd already done our quests. So if we wanted to do that, we had to redo all the quests in the game. And at this point, that's like, I don't even know, like 300 something quests or whatever. There's no way I'm doing that. It's too late. This project is, when I say like it's built on like toothpicks or popsicle sticks with duct tape, that's what I'm talking about. Because it is. We built all this stuff with one thing in mind, and then later we went, oh, wouldn't it be cool if you could do this thing too? Someone was like, okay, cool, and we tacked that on top. And then we were like, oh, it'd be cool if you could do this thing, and then we stuck that thing on the side. And then we went in and did something else, and we stuck that thing on the side. And it was like, none of those things are like ingrained in the base system. And so because of that, if we change the base system, everything breaks, first of all. And if we change any one of those systems, all the things attached to it break. And we have to go through every single system and like refactor all of them to make it work. It's a nightmare, and it's a huge project, and there's thousands and thousands and thousands of like blueprints, like nodes that we have to go through and change if we wanted to fix something. It's just a lot. There's a lot going on, and it's like we're too far into the project now to be able to do that kind of stuff, unfortunately. I also enjoy the different races, which is why I replay it every time with a different character, but all of them end up a hunter mage combo. Yeah, that happens too. That's what I absolutely love. That's what I absolutely feel. I love the game, the community, and seeing the game developed piece by piece. One of the systems that duct tape together works. So let's not touch it. That's pretty much how this whole game works. Yes. Rather update games to appease new players than current players. Yeah, totally agree. Harsh, but makes sense. Yeah, and when I talk about like making changes for new players, I'm not trying to be rude to old players. Like, we've done everything. We've done a ton of work to make sure that existing players don't lose any progress during updates. Like, we have a lot of like checks and balances in place now to make sure that we don't accidentally break something so old players don't get their content. Every single update, we double check on our own characters. Sorry, my allergies are going nuts right now for some reason. I don't know why. So my voice is like going out and my sinuses are going crazy now. I think it's about time to go get lunch. But we do a lot of stuff. Like, every single time we do an update, we test it in a dev build to check for any errors that we get. That way we can check errors easier, and I can get reports and like print strings and stuff like that, and get debug reports and then fix them. And then we also after we've like confirmed that that's all good to go 100%, then we do a shipping build and we test that on, well, most of our testers test on test characters, but I tested on my live characters. I literally go in with my live character that I played since day one. His name is Azai. That's my live character name. I have a bunch of characters, but that's like the big one. I go in with that character and I play the game for like half an hour on that character and make sure nothing is wrong. I haven't lost any progress. None of my things are missing. All my chests have stuff in them still. I check on my live character. Sometimes I make backups just in case, because I have lost like progress before. Not because of like updates, but because I go back to older versions sometimes to play the game in older versions, and that breaks things. So I don't recommend doing that. If you want to do that, don't do it. But anyway, yeah, we do a lot of checks and balances to make sure that like we don't break the game for existing players, because we don't want players to restart every time. We want you to keep going. That's the whole point of an early access game, is you're like, new content, let's get back on our old characters and do the new thing. That's cool. I love that. And I don't want players to restart every time. That would be so tedious. I would hate that. I played games where like I've put in 50 hours into the game or whatever, and then they did an update and I had to start over, and I've just quit the game entirely. So there's no way I would do that on purpose. So anyway, just a majority of games, I think. Let's not lie. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think most games are held together with duct tape and hope and dreams. Anyway, okay, we've done a lot of talking. I do have a whole list of plans though, which is good. I do need to figure out, I think the biggest thing right now, I don't know why I cannot find this. There we go. The biggest thing right now is I need to figure out if Bone Reach is going to exist and what Alloran City is going to do. Because I want to wrap up this storyline with the original storyline that's meant to be in this game, with Owen's storyline. I want to tell that story. That's the story I've been wanting to tell since the beginning. I think it's important for me to feel that closure, and I want that to happen. So whatever I have to do to make that happen, I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. If that means we have to destroy 4 of those buildings in Sleepy Haven and tack in a keep there, I'll do it. I'll make it look good. It'll look good. I'm not worried about that. I'm worried a little bit about like completely wiping Alloran City out of the lore of the game. But that's fine. Okay, we have ads starting in 1 minute. Let's not let these ads happen. Let's go find someone to raid. We have 1 minute to raid and end the stream. I'm gonna go get lunch. Pause. Who are we gonna raid? How many viewers we have? Oh, we have a lot of viewers. Oh my god, what are you guys doing in here? Let's go raid this guy. Sure. You just got here? Sorry, mate. I'll be back on Thursday. Grade time. We have 20 seconds. Not gonna make it. You guys might get hit with an ad. Oh wait, I can snooze it. There, we snoozed the ads, doesn't matter. Anyway, my voice is going out. I really need some like milk or something. I don't know. I need something for my throat, and I need some lunch, and an allergy pill, I guess. So thank you guys so much for hanging out. I appreciate it. I don't know how we have 47 viewers. We didn't even get rated or anything. We just have 47 natural viewers. I don't know what's going on. But I thank you guys so much for like listening to me rant, and it's been nice not like being super negative. Like there's a little bit of negativity in here, like, but I don't mean to be. Like I'm not trying to be, and I'm not negative anymore. I'm no longer depressed or like burnt out, which is fantastic. But I do love talking about like the plans. I love talking, like that's my favorite thing about streaming, is just like chatting with you guys and feeling like I'm not alone in this development process. And it is nice. It's so nice to get on and like talk and have like the support and like have you guys like still around and still like believing in me, and even if it's not this project, with future projects and stuff. And I promise you that like if this game doesn't finish to the extent that I wanted it to be, I have so many other ideas for future projects that I think will fulfill a lot of those things that we wanted. So yeah, anyway, bye guys, thanks for good